Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2533 with the release date of Friday, May 15th, 2026 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Unlock mysteries of sporadic E-skip. An amateur radio tribute saying goodbye to 3 BBC longwave transmitters, and in New Zealand, a recruitment drive begins in the aftermath of a cyclone. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2533 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, Stephen Kinford, NAWB.
We begin this week with a project by a ham radio operator who is trying to unlock the mysteries of sporadic E-skip. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us what the project is looking at and how you can look at it too.
Lloyd Van Horn, W4LVH, is a fan of mysteries, and there are perhaps few ham radio mysteries greater than that of sporadic E-skip, which makes its appearance on VHF in the Northern Hemisphere every year about this time. Lloyd is the force behind DX Central, a resource for DXers that does, among many other things, data analysis. This month he unveiled CDAP, an acronym for his Sporadic E's Data Analysis Project. It can be found at fmdxdata.com and is free to use by hams, educators, and anyone with a hobbyist's interest in this special season that turns propagation magical in the eyes of many. He writes on the website SW Ellingpost that he compiled more than 95,000 FM broadcast logs from North America to get the data relevant for the project, which goes beyond simple spreadsheets by adding interactive visualizations. He writes, quote, CDAP allows us to physically watch ionospheric clouds spawn, compress, and track across the continent in real time. We can finally see what a typical season looks like on a macroscopic level, end quote. He told the Radio World website that he also plans to include amateur radio data from 6 meters. He said that will permit analysis of days that had no propagation alongside days with active openings, days on which the maximum usable frequency did not reach the FM broadcast band. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
There has always been a strong affinity between amateur radio and our colleagues in broadcasting. So whenever there's a change or an end to things, hams take notice, as they will be doing in the UK this year, where the BBC is shutting down its long-wave radio service on June 27th. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us what's next.
Commissioned in 1934, the BBC's Droitwich long-wave transmitter went on the air to become a major broadcast facility. It played an important role in occupied Europe during wartime, and over the following decades, its broadcast programs became the background to so many lives throughout the UK. Responding to BBC's announcement of this year's shutdown of the Droitwich transmitter, as well as the long-wave transmitters at Burghead and Westerglen in Scotland, amateur radio operators have plans to mark the end of an era. The BBC Amateur Radio Group and the Radio Society of Great Britain are planning an on-air event and are looking for hams around the UK to participate. Meanwhile, hams are being asked to let organisers know if they are interested by emailing contestclub, all one word, at rsgbcc.org. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In Australia, the nation's regulator has introduced a new website for radio communication licenses. As we hear from John Williams, VK4JJW.
A new website for broadcast and other radio communication licenses has gone live in Australia, with changes designed to simplify searches by offering a variety of filters along with customizable options for the export of data. This replaces the older website, which the Australian Communications and Media Authority will keep online until the 10th of June during the transition period. The new site does not contain data about any class licenses, which include citizens band and amateur radio. Australia introduced the amateur class license in February of 2024 in a sweeping change that replaced individual amateur radio licenses. The ACMA has also designed the new site as a resource for broadcast license applicants who may see what frequencies are available and other relevant information. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
A recent cyclone that hit New Zealand has left its mark, not just on the country's east coast, but among emergency communicators there, who are stepping up their recruitment efforts as a result. Jim Meechan, ZL2 VHF, has those details.
Volunteers from Amateur Radio Emergency Communications Tauranga answered the call in April when the severe storm known as Cyclone Viano approached the coast. Kairawhiti Emergency Management in Gisborne was asking that hams keep communication lines open throughout that tense weekend. AREC members were able to staff the emergency centre radios, which are connected to remote community civil defence teams. The volunteers were reminded that this is the very purpose for which AREC was established in 1932, and the reason it has since evolved into something that civil defence, search and rescue, and police can rely on. Last month, 3 of the Tauranga volunteers went to Gisborne and worked in shifts around the clock to ensure welfare checks were made and community contact was maintained, especially in the most remote areas. One community ended up having a power failure, and their backup power did not function either, and so the AREC volunteers got that addressed. AREC also created a nationwide safety net on the HF bands. The team is now hoping to grow even stronger by adding trained volunteers and putting out a call through local media to ask that interested people contact them. Group leader Joanne Watson, ZL1JDR, told the Sun Live website, quote, "You never know when your skills might be the link that keeps someone connected," end quote. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
An important and influential figure in disaster communications in the United States has become a silent key. We learn about his contributions from Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
If you are involved in emergency communications or security, it is likely you're familiar with the name of Ross Merlin, WA2WDT. Ross became a silent key on the 3rd of May. A former radio communications professional with National Disaster Medical Services, he had a long government career that also included serving as manager of the National Emergency Radio System of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. He had also been a board member of the Amateur Radio Safety Foundation, which funds and operates WinLink. Ross is credited with being one of the creators of a WinLink network on a number of government radio channels. Ross wrote the National Interoperability Field Operations Guide, published by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and later served as program manager of the department's Shared Resources HF radio program. Licensed in 1974, he enjoyed DXing, contesting, automatic link establishment, and the digital modes. He had also held a general radio telephone operator license. He was 67. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world. And this week only, you will hear selected stories featured on the Hamvention information station WPVW-207 on 1620 AM in and around Xenia, Ohio. If you're in Xenia, you can find the station itself in booth number 1002 in building number 1. We're in the second half of May. If you haven't yet nominated a candidate for the Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award, you're running out of time. You only have until the 31st of May, and it's coming up fast. Nominees must be licensed hams who are 18 years of age or younger, and they must reside in the continental United States. Visit our website, arnewsline.org, and find the nomination form under the Awards tab. Submit the documentation that tells us how your nominee has played an important role, not just in the community of fellow amateurs, but in the community at large. A U.S.-based company has developed an open-source software modem for HF digital and other uses, as we hear from Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Developers have announced the release of Mercury, an open-source software modem that they're calling a replacement for Vara. Mercury is a digital radio OFDM protocol, which can be used for HF broadcast and peer-to-peer ARQ connections with compatible TCP interfaces. According to Peter Bloom, general coordinator of the developer Rhizomatica, Mercury is compatible with Windows, Linux, and a number of non-Intel architectures. Peter told Newsline that Mercury, the newest element of Rhizomatica's Hermes software suite, is built for reliable store and forward email and file transfer over HF radio links. He said it's compatible with most HF transceivers and complies with ham radio use. The project coordinator is Rafael Diniz, PU2 UIT. He said that Mercury has a number of advantages over Vara, including improved performance over high SNR links. There is no license fee. Find additional details at the website that appears in the text version of this week's report at arnewsline.org. This is Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
The Australian regulator is being asked to change some call sign prefixes in the sub-Antarctic, as we hear from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
The Wireless Institute of Australia has responded to the regulator's request for input on its 5-year spectrum outlook, spanning 2026 through to 2031, and its work program spanning 2026 to 2027. It is asking that the Australian Communications and Media Authority improve spectrum access to support experimentation and emerging technologies, modernise regulation of repeaters and beacons, and develop a staged EME competence framework that will give amateurs greater access to operating at increased power safely. The WIA has been actively seeking greater power for ham since 2013. It told the ACMA that increased power for the class license should be backed up by training, certification, and communications industry's best practices. The WIA has also asked that the call sign prefixes be changed in the sub-Antarctic, restoring VK0 for operations on Heard Island and Macquarie Island, which are now assigned the VK9 prefix of Australian external territories. The WIA is also proposing that the VK9 prefix be restored for Lord Howe Island, which is presently assigned VK2. The response to the consultation highlights ham radio's key role in STEM, innovation, and emergency communications, noting that a number of the issues it has raised address barriers to ham radio's growth and operators' participation and efficiency. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
In the world of DX, Nobu JA0JHQ will be on the air from Palau as T88PB from the 27th through the 31st of May, and again from the 20th through the 22nd of June. Nobu will participate in the CQ-WPX CW contest and the All-Asian DX CW contest. Dave G4WXJ will be using the call sign ZC4RH from UK sovereign base areas from May 23rd through to the 30th. He will operate CW, SSB, FT4, and FT8. Pete M1PTR and Chiron M5KJM/EI6KP will be on the air from Erinmore Island, IOTA number EU121 from the 21st through to the 23rd of May, using the call sign EJ6KP. Listen on 15, 20, and 40 meters, where they will be using SSB. The Radio Amateur Association of Western Greece, SZ1A, is using the special call sign SZ40A until the 31st of May to mark its 40 years serving the amateur radio community. Operators will be on the HF bands using several modes. For QSL details and other operating information, visit each station's page on QRZ.com. We end this week with the thought that if one park is fun to activate, 2 parks are twice as much fun. Operators in Ireland are trying for 5 times as much fun by doing their first Parks on the Air Rove as a group activity. Dave Lee, M7TLB, takes us along for the ride.
Members of the TOG Hackerspace and South Dublin Radio Club are no strangers to experimentation. Tinkerers, amateurs, makers and experimenters all find a welcome home in Dublin, where the ham radio club station EI0TOG has its headquarters. The radio operators are now working on yet another experiment, their first POTA Rover Day, in the hope of activating 5 POTA designated parks in a single UTC day, qualifying them for the POTA Rover Warthog Award. Their shared day-long adventure is planned for Sunday the 31st of May. While they're not looking to bag an actual warthog, the tusks and tempers of these sub-Saharan mammals can be quite intimidating, they are going for 5 successful activations and as many QSOs as possible. As club members note on the TOG Hackerspace website, quote, "This could be a great idea, or it could totally fall apart. But that is all part of the fun. Amateur radio has always had that experimental side to it, and a day like this has a real sense of adventure," end quote. One ham plans to take the spirit adventure to the extreme. He hopes to make the trip on his bicycle. Be listening for EI0TOG and help them catch that warthog. This would not only be the first such award for the club, it would be the first warthog, wild or figurative, to actually find a habitat in the Republic of Ireland. This is Dave Lee, M7TLB.
With thanks to the ACMA, Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT News, the ARRL Letter, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, FCC, 425 DX News, Hamvention 2019, the IRTS, NZNet, QRZ.com, Radio World, Radio Society of Great Britain, Rhizomatica, Scotland On Air, shortwaveradio.de, South Dublin Radio Club, Sun Live, SWLING Post, TOG Hackerspace, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscasts, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, N8WB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2022. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material, even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CQ. WA8KOC, and I'm calling CQ for Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association's Weekly Tuesday Net. Because this is the weekly net for Silvercreek, I will be using the club called W8WKY, and this frequency is 147 Mark 390 megahertz. The CTCSS code for this repeater is 114 Mark 8. Again, this is a controlled net. All traffic shall pass through net control. Emergency traffic may break in as required. Before we this evening, it's great to be here with you folks. Does anybody here have any announcements for the good of amateur radio or for Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association? Please respond. WA8KOC. Oh, I got to put a nickel in the jar. WKY, this is KD8SLG. I got a few announcements. Fred. Go right ahead, President. Thanks, Fred. Going to remind everybody, in lieu of a regular meeting this week, we're going to be having a fox hunt. So everybody meet up at our usual spot at 7 o'clock as we normally would, and we'll take off from there. The weather prognosticators that I'm looking at make it look like it's going to be a much more temperate day than today. And come on out and hook up with someone, and we'll go find the fox. It should be a good time. Field day T-shirts. That order form should be up in the next day or two, and everybody can get their field day T-shirts. It's going to be safety yellow. Andy won the contest. The shirt looks great, and we're going to have the same prices as last year, so that's a win as well. I'm not going to take any more time, Fred. Have at it. This is KD8SLG, back to net control.
Nick, thank you very much. You can take all the time you care to, and that's why we're here. But thank you for that update. And yeah, the T-shirts should be fabulous. And this week's meeting as a fox hunt should be a lot of fun. So with that, are there any other people out there with any kind of updates or announcements? Please call W8WKY.
W8WKY.
Pretty silent out there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask people for in and out check-ins first. I'm not going to go county by county. It takes a bit of time, and I would rather have somebody have airtime and be able to chat and enjoy themselves rather than slow things up. So with that, any in and out stations anywhere for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Weekly Net, please give me a call, and good evening.
Kilo 8, Mike, Romeo Echo, KAMRE. Mike, have a good evening. In and out.
Toaster, Martin Wadford, in and out.
November 8, Mike Whiskey Sierra Pete, Jackson Township, Stark County, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Victor Oscar X-Ray, KE8 VOX Scott, Vermilion, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Duggan Rittman, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Tango Lima Bravo, KE8 TLB, Randy and Rittman, I'll be in and out. 73, and God bless everyone.
KF8FNC, Isaac, Franklin County, Ohio.
KF8GGC, Kilo Foxtrot 8, Golf Golf Charlie, Marianne, Wadsworth, Ohio.
Isaac and Marianne, I don't know if I've spoken to you two before, but I do have you marked in and out, along with K8MRE, KE8SFS. And by the way, Mark, again, first portion of your transmission was chopped. I don't know what's going on, but the rest of it was fine. N8MWS, KE8VOX, KE8JNH, and KE8TLB. Thank you all for checking in and out on the net this evening. We're going to miss having you stick around, but do come back and spend some time with us when you can and whenever you choose to. Any other stations that would like to check in and out for the Tuesday Weekly Net, please give me a call. W8WKY here.
Mike, Gary at Portage Lakes, and I'll be in and out, Fred.
Added to the list, WACTM. Thank you, Kerry. I'll mark you in and out. Have a good evening. Anyone else? Well, probably due to our wonderful weather we're having today, I'd imagine people are out enjoying themselves and maybe a little too busy to come in and play radio trivia with us. But do appreciate those in-and-out check-ins. And if there are any other in-and-out check-ins coming in the future through the rest of the net, please alert me to the fact that you are in and out so I don't add you to the list for playing trivia with us. And with that, I'm going to take a quick pause. Those stations that would like to check in and play trivia and communicate and have some camaraderie, socialization, would you please give me a call, any stations, anywhere. WAWKY listening.
Kilo Alpha 8, Lima Yankee Juliet, KA8, LYJ, Bob, in the Magic City.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Papa, KF8, DTP, Lori Maslin.
I'm with you, Fred.
The station just checked in. There was an awful lot of buzz and interference. I heard I'm with you, Fred. Could you please re-identify?
Kilo Echo 8, Zulu Zulu Romeo.
Thank you, Harry. I thought that was your voice, but I wanted to make sure. Gotcha, man. Who's next?
W8WKY, this is Kilo Echo 8 Victor Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX, Joe and Akron.
Kilo 4 Oscar Golf, K4OG, Mark in Copley.
Please copy Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8 UIB John Maslin.
N8MWS wants to be back for the trivia, so we're not in and out. N8MWS.
WAWKY, this is W3X, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
All right, I'm going to go through the list here of the people we have currently. I've got KA8LYJ, KF8DTP, KE8ZZR, KE8VQX, K4OG, KE8UIB, N8NWS, and WO3X. Thank you, folks. We should have some fun here tonight, and anxious to get to talk to you guys. I'm going to open it up, see if there are any others that would like to check in with us. Any stations would like to check in and play trivia with us? This is Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Weekly Net. Please call W8WKY.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, Lima, Sierra, John in Fairlawn.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, KD8SLG, Nick and Allstar.
W8WKY, this
have added to the list W2JLS, KD8SLG, and AA8CT. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to go ahead and make it one last round, and then we'll get going through the list here and give our trivia question. Hopefully there's some others out there that would like to join in and play with us. W8WKY is listening. Alrighty then, hearing nothing. Good to be with you folks this evening. Thanks for joining in with us. We've got probably another 45 minutes to go, and there may be additional stations to check in with us along the way there. I'm going to go ahead and give the trivia question for this evening before we start down the list, trying to save some time here. So with that, I'm going to take just a quick pause for time.
W8WKY.
There is an organization. The name of the organization is KULA, K-H-U-L-A. That's Kilo Hotel Uniform Lima Alpha. It was a startup platform that provides technical infrastructure for agriculture. So what I'd like to know is, where is this organization based? And your answers, available answers, will be Alpha A, Brazil, Bravo B, Indonesia, Australia C, Charlie, Delta, Malaysia, D, Echo, Africa, E, or F, none of the above. Foxtrots, none of the above. I'm going to read the question again and the answers. It will be interesting to know if anybody has the answer to this on their own. KULA, K-H-U-L-A, was a startup platform that provides technical infrastructure for agricultural. And it is based somewhere. I'd like to know where. Your answers available are A, Alpha, Brazil, B, Bravo, Indonesia, C, Charlie, Australia, D, Delta, Malaysia, E, Echo, Africa, or F, Foxtrot, none of those. So with that, I'm going to get on it here. It's a welcoming affair here every Tuesday evening. I'd like to welcome first Bob. Robert, K8LYJ, this is W8WKY. How are you doing, buddy? Over to you. And if you've got an answer for this trivia question, I'd like to hear it.
W8WKY, this is K8LYJ. Hi, Fred. Hi, group. Just hanging out here. Was about to go get a cold brew coffee, but got to be too close to net time, so I figured I'd wait a bit to do that, so I didn't miss anything. As far as the answer to the trivia question, no, I don't have an answer. But I will anally extract Charlie, Australia, and we'll see how far that gets me. This is KA8LYJ.
Bob, sorry to interrupt your coffee run, but thank you. Thank you very much for sticking it out, sticking around, and saying hello and playing trivia with us. I sincerely appreciate it. I will be able to get back to you in just a little bit and let you know what your answer is like. But glad to have you here, buddy, as always. And hope life's treating you well with your darling bride. Onward and upward, KF8DTP, Lori, good evening. How are you? How is your day at work with your darling husband? And You got an answer for the trivia, right? Over to you. W8WKY.
W8WKY from KF8DTP. It was a really, really crazy day at work today. So yeah, I'm kind of just sitting and chilling and barely pretty much doing nothing. I did cook us dinner. So, that being said, I don't really have an answer for you on this. I've been floating back and forth between two answers, so I'm just going to go with A, and see where that takes me. I'm sure it's probably wrong, but hey, you know, it's a shot in the dark. What can I say? Anyways, I'm going to hand it back over to you, Fred. This is KF8GTP, and I'll be clear. 7-3, y'all.
All right, Miss Lori. Well, sorry to hear you folks had a chaotic day. Kind of nice to be at home, though, now, and relaxing, right? And hopefully tomorrow won't be as miserable or chaotic. But thanks for checking in with us this evening. Thanks for playing trivia. And hold on, and I'll be able to give you the answer for this question. KE8ZZR, my buddy Harry is over there in Wadsworth. Harry, good evening. How are you and the missus? And how's life treating you? And what's your answer for this trivia question, buddy?
W8WKY, this is KE8ZZR. Good evening, Fred, and everybody else that's on the net. Life is treating us fine. The wife and I, we just did a bike ride cruised around the neighborhood before the net here, and now it's Sports Tuesday, so she's glued to the TV and getting ready to watch the Cavs, I guess, so that's why she was in and out. We're back from Hamvention, obviously. We had a great time. It was great to see all the Sarah people and the Wayne Amateur Radio Club people down there. I think Josh said there was close to 20 Sarah members down there. That's great. Maybe next year we can get a group picture. We'll have to remember that. So with my trivia questions, isn't Kahlua a liquor? So I guess I'll go with E. I don't know. I don't have a clue, Fred. That's just a wild guess. I'll turn it back to you. This is KE8ZZR.
Alrighty then, Harry. I've got you marked down for E. That would be Africa. F was none of the above. And I'm glad to know that you folks had a nice bike ride this evening. Enjoy watching sports. Have yourself a fabulous evening. Look forward to seeing you in person soon, pal. 7-3. KE8VQX, good evening, Joe. I almost said good morning. How are you today? Hopefully you had a good day today. Over to you, and what's your answer?
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. I was thinking I was going to say good morning too, Fred, because that's usually what I talk to you. But yeah, pretty good day. I'm going to guess E is an echo for the answer. Kula. I've never heard of it. The closer I get, the older I get, and the closer to curmudgeonhood, I guess. I feel like I can say stuff like that. Never heard of it. So anyway, I've never heard of it. So E echo for me. I think I may be switching to Allstar here. I'm going to be disconnecting some antennas. It's pretty dark to the west. So anyway, thanks for getting me in, Fred. This is KE8VQX, back to W8WKY.
Joe, it's a pleasure to communicate with you morning, afternoon, or evening. Glad to know that you're doing okay this evening. I do have your answer marked down as E, Echo, for Africa. And, yeah, hopefully I'll get a chance to say good morning to you again tomorrow morning. If not, you take good care of yourself. Be safe. And I think we're going to get a little bit of wet weather coming in here tomorrow morning, so be cautious of that. 7-3, buddy. K4OG, the original gangster. Mark, good evening. When you came in this morning and checked in and out, I thought, he's probably up here in Copley. How are you, Mark? And what's your answer for the trivia question? W8WKY here.
W8WKY, K4OG. Good evening, Fred. You're right, Fred. I'm up here in Copley, playing radio. Thanks for running the net, Fred. Let's get straight to my answer. My amazing powers of reasoning have deduced that the answer is echo, because Joe said earlier before me. And I think Africa just needed a little help. So there you go, Fred. 73s, everybody. K4OG, back to net.
Mark, sure is good talking to you twice in one day. Thanks for checking in with us tonight. Thanks for playing radio, enjoying yourself. Hopefully work went well for you today. And I've got you marked down for E, Echo, Africa, for your answer. Take care, buddy, and I'll talk to you real soon. KE8UIB, Johnny, good evening. I hope, whatever hard issues you have to the day, hopefully they're not burdening you right now, and you're able to have a little bit of fun with us. What's your answer for the trivia question, and how the heck are you this evening?
W8WKY from KE8UIB. And to be honest with you, Fred, I'm exhausted, but I'll elaborate on that in a minute. We'll knock out the trivia question. You know, I'm messaging back and forth with dear old mom and dad. They're going to go with E, Echo. I think, let me see. Oh, nobody's taken B, Bravo yet, so I'll go ahead and take B, Bravo, and I'll see where that lands. And, the day, Fred, let me tell you what, man, it's been a busy one. We took a big rush job. It's 9 different orders for one customer. They're big, oversized prints. I have to print them manually. It's a very physical, tedious task. I have 3,500 polos scheduled to come in tomorrow morning. Right after I lock the door tonight, the truck pulls up with 120 boxes. So I tossed 120 boxes, me, Lori, and the owner, in about 20 minutes. And 5 skids worth of polos. And then let me break for time real quick. Then I came home and did my nightly workout, checked in the 2 nets, got my shower, dinner, and I'm on the 3rd net of the evening. So it's been a really, really busy day. The radio has been a positive part of it, but unfortunately I had to make the decision. I had next Friday and the Monday after scheduled off for vacation days and for some time to do some work around my house and relax. And unfortunately, we're just so busy that I'm going to have to just evacuate that plan and start over for time somewhere else, I guess. So, it's been a really long day. But, thanks for letting me vent for a minute, Fred. I kind of appreciate that. So, with that, this is KE8UIB, living the $5 dream, a nickel at a time. I will hand this back over to Net Control. 7-3s, y'all.
John, that does sound like a miserably hard, difficult, chaotic day. Sorry to hear it went that way. But hey, you're home now, relaxing, playing radio. You got 3 nets in today. Congratulations. Good job, buddy. And I have you marked down for B, Bravo, which would be Indonesia. And your parents marked down for E, Echo, as Africa. So with that, you take good care of yourself. Stay tuned. I'll have an answer here pretty shortly, I think. And have a good rest of your evening, buddy. 7-3. NAMWS. Pete, good evening. Thanks for bopping out of the in and out column and coming in for the duration, spending some time with us chatting and playing trivia. What's your answer for this trivia question, and how are you doing today, buddy? W8WKY.
W8WKY from November 8, Mike Whiskey Sierra Pete. Hey, hi Fred, and everybody else on the net. First off, I pick E, Africa, and then the only thing I have is We have the Nash Family Jackson Amphitheater, Stark County, Jackson Township, right at about 241 and 619, which is Wales and Fulton in Jackson Township. Lots of good shows out there. It's government, it's nonprofit. Come out and enjoy some stuff. And a bunch of other ham radio operators come out there quite often. So it'd be nice to see everybody out there from this repeater. Other than that, I hope everybody's aware that Big Boy 4014, the biggest steam locomotive like on the tracks right now, I think ever, is coming through Ohio in the next few months. Fostoria, Ohio is probably the best place you're going to see it. My wife and I already have a hotel room. We're going the day before when it's on static display. That will be July 14th for Astoria, Ohio. Be really cool to see that thing. It's like gigantic. So other than that, that's all I have. 7-3s, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to check in on the net, and we'll send it back to Net Control. W8 WKY from N8MWS. Back to net.
N8MWS, W8WKY. Pete, thanks for sticking around and playing. I do have you marked down for letter E, Echo, Africa. And, yeah, I don't know if, it might have been Miss Nancy, KI5OZZ, that let us know about that big train coming this way. And from what I understand, it is something to behold. So I hope that you and your wife have a good time going out there to Fostoria and seeing it. Fostoria is not so far away, so that's good. And, yeah, whatever you do with the rest of your evening, be safe, and you're welcome anytime. 7-3, buddy. WO3X, John, good to hear from you this evening. How are things over in Cuyahoga Falls? And have you got an answer for the trivia question? Over to you.
W8WKY, this is WO3X. Good evening, Fred, and all on the net. Doing pretty good here. Let's see. Yeah, before everybody started choosing E, like Mark K4OG said, Africa could use a little help, so I had figured that the other countries on their A, B, C, and D are doing pretty good agricultural-wise, and Africa always needs a little help in that regard, so that'll be my answer, E. Let's see. Now, the Hamvention, I didn't go to it. Let's see. Yeah, regarding nets, this is my fourth net this evening. One of them is the Sunbelt Service Net, which I've been checking into for 30 years. And on Friday, we weren't at the Hamvention. My wife and I were up in Salamanca, New York, and in a motel, and also we had been in the Allegheny State Park in New York that day with plans to attend the Geobash the next day. So that Sunbelt Service Net runs Monday through Friday except holidays. And so to check in, you can check in early before 8 p.m., like 7:30 to 8 p.m., and then they start the roster for people who have checked in at least once in the last 2 weeks. So I went up on a high spot there in the park, and with my 75-meter ham stick, I tried to check into it. Well, the net control couldn't hear me, but N3AV in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania heard me and relayed me in. So he's a regular check-in to that net also. So so I got checked in from Allegheny State Park in New York. Let's see, so I have a few more nets this evening still. So with that, this is WO3X back to the net, 7-3.
John, first off, I do have you marked down for letter E, Echo, the answer of Africa. And second of all, boy, I think you must have had a wonderful weekend this past weekend. And boy, you're a busy beaver when it comes to the nets. You may even rival Mark, KC8FQV. But good to hear you in here with us this evening. I hope that you have a good rest of your evening. I hope you enjoy yourself. And I'll look forward to talking to you in the near future. Take care of yourself, buddy. W2JLS, John. It's been forever since I've talked to you. I'm glad I got a chance this evening. How are you doing? How's life treating you? And have you got an answer for this trivia question? Good to hear you.
Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. Fred, WK8KOC. Good to hear you too, sir. I listened to the question. I heard the answers. I've never heard of that organization before that I can recall. I did like John's point about Africa and maybe there are struggles there because of what nature presents it with. I'm going to stick with my original choice, which also suffers a lot of natural difficulties with agriculture, and that is Australia. And I will confess that the reason I'm picking it is Kula kind of reminded me of koala, which reminded me of Australia. So I have a funny feeling it's Africa because the lion's share of your call-ins tonight are selecting Africa, but I'm going to be a rogue and step out into Australia. Anyway, Fred, thank you, and I gather you guys are pushing to help me out at the tail of the start of the hour, so I'll keep it brief myself. Thank you so much for running the net and entertaining what we're following up with later on. I didn't mean to have it cut anything short here. W2JLS passing it back. Thanks for having me, buddy. Good evening on your ears.
John, good evening to you as well. No issues, no worries. Glad to have you aboard. And I do have you marked down for letter C, Charlie. That would be Australia. And it's going to be an interesting run here. But whatever you do, take good care of yourself. Have a good rest of your evening, pal. Talk to you soon, hopefully. 7-3. KD8SLG, Just Nick. Just President. Good evening. How are you, Nick? Thanks for being in here with us. What's your answer for the trivia question, and what's new?
WAWKY, is this KD8SLG? Good evening, Fred, and all of the Sarah Club netizens in here. I'm going to follow up what John was just talking about. John's going to be running a net right after this one, and we're going to link up to it. The Colorado Astronomy Net, I believe. We linked up to it last week, and we'll give John a little support, and he can use RF to get into that thing. And if you haven't had enough net tonight, stick around. W2JLS, my brother from another mother. Thanks, John. We'll get it linked up right when we're done here. Trivia. All right, so as soon as I heard Kula, I got to tell you. I thought Hula, like Hawaii, wasn't one of the options. So I'm going to go with F, because none of the above. But it's been a fun Liars Club tonight. Everybody's had good explanations for why they chose what they chose. I get the koala connection. And there was another one earlier that made perfect sense when you talked it through. But, I'm going with F. We'll get F on the boards tonight for you, Fred. Plus, there's never an F, so maybe it's there for a reason. Fox on Thursday night, looking forward to it. Going to have Mexican food beforehand. So those of you who go to Nuestra Casa, come join us. The T-shirts are looking fabulous for field day. We'll get that order sheet up shortly. Get your orders in, and we'll all be matching for field day. It'll be fabulous. That's all I got tonight, Fred. Talk to you in the morning, and hope to see a bunch of you Thursday night. Thanks, Fred. KD8SLG, back to net control.
Okay, Nick, thank you. And if you guys are going to link up to that other net, I'm sure it's going to be a blast, a fun time. So I will move on here and get going. Take good care of yourself. 7-3, and I'll talk to you soon. I want to add NT8D proxied in to the net this evening. He contacted me earlier today and asked me to do so. And I've also added NAWB Stefan to the bottom of the list here. And we're nearly at the bottom of the list. So AA8CT, Brother Craig, you're up next. How are you doing, and what's your answer for the trivia question? How the heck are you, pal?
W8WKY. Actually, it's W8KOC, but we use the W8WKY. Brother Fred, I am wonderful. Twice in one day, I tell you, that's a run. And I gotta say, I was kind of leaning toward the E for Africa, but I kind of like Nick's idea of maybe it's just none, because how often do we have an F for an answer? So because I have absolutely no idea, I'm going to follow along with the President's suggestion and go ahead with F, as in Foxtrot. For that, I'm going to say thank you for being the NCO both this morning and again this evening, and then tomorrow morning as well. We'll hear you then. And to all of the Serenetitans out there, I wish you a good evening. God bless. And 73. For that, I'm going to turn it back to W8WK1. Say have a good evening all, and see you on Thursday. This is AACC saying good evening. Take care and thank you. Take care, Brother Fred.
Brother Craig, it's always good to hear you, chat with you, have a QSO, and welcome you aboard a net. This evening's net, it's a lot of fun, and we had a few in and out stations, and now we're right back down to the bottom of the list so far. I don't know if we're going to get any other check-ins additionally, but I've got you marked down for F, Foxtrot, none of the above, and so far, last on my list will be Stefan. N8WB, this is W8WKY. Good evening, Stefan. How are you? It's been a while. And what's your answer for the trivia question, or do you need it reread?
W8WKY, November 8, Whiskey Bravo. Good evening, Fred. Good morning to all the people on tonight's net. It's great to hear everybody now. I will go with Foxtrot, also F for fun. So we'll just go with that, Foxtrot. Not too much stuff going on here other than I will not be at the Thursday meeting. I watch a friend of mine's house out in Paynesville, and he will be going with his family to Japan. So I have somebody here that lives here permanently at my house, but I will be heading that way to take care of the house and the dog in Paynesville. So, plus there's several restaurants out that way I want to take a stab at. And then I have friends that live in Paynesville as well, other than the Radicas, where I'm going to be. So, yeah, it's going to be a good time, I think. And that will be me coming back next Friday, so the 29th, I believe. Other than that, it's going to be a good rest of the week, I think. It's raining right now where I'm at, here in Sharon Township, but it's supposed to clear up later this weekend. And a little rain doesn't hurt anybody. I'll be near the lake out there, but I won't be going to the lake. But I will be going to stop at a couple magic stores that are up in that area. So that should be pretty good. Well, listen, Fred, I don't want to take up the rest of your net, but I know you're at the bottom of the list, but I want to say thank you for running the net, and thank you for running the nets in the morning. And I will try to check in next week when I'm out there via Allstar, as I'm doing right now. So 73, my friend, have a great evening. And Rod is actually going to be taking over my net Saturday because I don't like to walk away with that much of a distance without knowing the setup I'm going to be in. Send it back to you. November 8 Whiskey Bravo W8KY.
Affirmative, Stefan. All right. Well, I do have you marked down for letter F. Thanks for joining in and playing with us this evening. I hope that you have an enjoyable time out east there in Painesville, and God bless Rod for stepping in and doing the net. I'm sure we'll all enjoy speaking with him and maybe get a chance to even say hello to you next week in the morning sometime. But you stay safe on your travels out there and enjoy your time up by the lake. We'll say 7-3 to you. That's the bottom of the list so far. I'm going to open it up for any other stations out there that would like to come in and check in on the Tuesday Weekly Net. I can also reread the question for you for the trivia if you'd like. So anybody out there that's waiting to check in, please give me a call, W8WKY.
November 8, Juliet, Kilo, Oscar, Joe in Willoughby, in and out.
November
Kilo,
8,
Charlie 1.
Bill into London.
6 to correct Sierra. KC1, BQS, Paul.
Foxtrot, Oscar, KC8, YFO, KC8, KC8, FQE.
Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango, Tom and Ken, in and out.
I do believe we had some collisions there. I did copy NHJKO. Joe, in and out. Joe, thanks for checking in with us, buddy. KC1 BQS, Paul, I caught you. NAWS, Bill, I got you in the mix there. KC8 FQV, Mark. KA8 MNT, Tom, I've got you marked in and out. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. Who do we miss here?
Kilo Charlie 8, Yankee Foxtrot Oscar, KC8 YFO, Andy Medina.
Andy, I got you. KC8 YFO. Anybody else out there? All right, hearing no takers, could one of you or any of you let me know if you need the question reread? WAWKY. Well, nobody requesting a statement or the question read again. I am going to go ahead and get it right over to Paul. Right way over to Paul. KC1 BQS, Paul, over in Enfield, Maine. Paul, good to hear you this evening. Thanks for checking in. What's your answer for this trivia question? How did your day go today?
Well, I have no idea the actual answer, but I'm just going to take a guess and go F, Foxtrot. And with that, my day went really well. It was warm. It hit almost 80 here today, and I had the dog outdoors, and we tried to spend as much time as we could. And it was a great day, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. That is really great. And my wife Sandra and I actually ate dinner on our deck tonight, which is like, wow. And then we got driven in by the black flies as dusk came on, which was like, yeah, it's May, it's Maine, yeah. But we enjoyed it while it lasted.
And so that's all I can say today. I tried to check into my local net tonight, that I'm a member of that club, and I just wasn't making the repeater. So I figured I could come over here and I could make it. So good to hear everyone, and thank you for taking my check-in. We'll talk to you in the morning, Fred, if I don't get called to substitute, but I'll try to do an IO if I do. With that, good night, everyone. KC1 VQS, back to net.
All right, Paul, well, I'm glad to talk to you this evening again. You know, if it's one of those classes you enjoy substituting for, I get it. But glad you moseyed on over here this evening, since you couldn't hit the net up there. You take good care of yourself. I've got you marked down for letter F, Foxtrot, none of the above. And we'll look forward to talking to you in the morning. Take good care of yourself, pal. Please give Sandra our best, and the puppy a little scratch on the head for us. NAWS, Bill, good evening. How are you this evening? It's over to you, WAWKY. I had just got a little notation from Stefan, NAWB, that Bill, NAWS, was in and out. So, Bill, if you're still listening, have yourself a good one. I'll mark you in and out. KC8FQV, WAWKY. Good evening, Mark. Take it away. It's all yours.
All right, Fred. I got unloaded just in time, because it is now raining buckets. Yep, it is raining buckets. But yeah, it was a good time down at Dayton. Stopped at Bucky's. I almost screwed up on that thing while I was leaving yesterday after Kings Island closed at 7. I almost screwed up. I was going to head up 77. I said, wait, I can't do that. I got to go up 75 and up 4 to Bucky's. Holy smokes, that place put any of the gas stations we have here that are big. It's like Cracker Barrel on steroids, you know, with that little store they have. That place is like on steroids. But it was really a good time down at Dayton. Stopped in Columbus and seen the teacher got me involved in ham radio. It was windy this afternoon down there. And he says the fields are dry. He says all these rainstorms they get down there, they split and go one way or the other. They don't go through. So, but I'm going to reset. Yeah, I'm going to just say F. And yeah, it was a good time seeing everyone I seen down there, and stopping and seeing the teacher that got me involved with ham radio. He retired, same place I retired from. And I worked for 30 years, and yeah, when I retired, I said to the girl, the human resources, said, we typed the letter up that I was going to ask for retirement. I said, put read the request of retirement. So, that's good. So, it's been now 10, holy smokes, 26. It's been 10 years now. I've been just about 10 years since retired. But I want to say F, Fred, KCFQV, back it comes.
Okay, Mark. KC8FQV, WAWKY, I do have you marked down for letter F, Foxtrot, none of the above. Glad to know that you had fun down in Xenia, and a nice trip back. And Hopefully you'll have a good rest of your evening. 7-3 to you. KA8MNT, Tom was in and out. Brings me down to Andy. KC8YFO, Andy, good evening. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. Everything okay on your end? And what's your answer for the trivia question?
A minute, but everything's going good. I wish the same to you. Let's see, trivia. I actually have no idea on this one. I think the D was Indonesia, so I'll just go with that. Either way, I'm curious about the history of it. Just watching the rain roll in here in Medina, and trying to think. Yeah, I had a good time at Hamvention. It was really, really nice. Weather cooperated for the most part. A little bit of rain on Saturday, but we made through it. And actually, it's kind of fun, is I've got my mom and one of my sisters interested in amateur radio. They're actually studying for their exams, so that's pretty cool to get them rolling into the hobby, too. But anyways, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you for running the net. Great job as always. KC8YSO.
KC8YFO, WAWKY, Andy, I put you down for letter B, Bravo. That was Indonesia. And if that's what you wanted, I got you for B, Bravo. Thanks for joining in with us this evening. Good job on getting some family members involved with amateur radio. That's really great. And it tends to go that way on occasion. There's quite a few people here that their spouses, significant others, or family members are involved in amateur radio as well as them. So with that, we'll say thanks for checking in. Stay tuned for the answer. I'm going to make one last call for this net tonight because I know they're trying to get to another net this evening right after ours. So any other folks that are out there that would like to check in on the Tuesday Weekly Net, this is WAWKY, last call. All right, hearing nothing. I'll read the answer. Read the question once more time. KULA, KHULA, was a startup platform that provides technical infrastructure for agriculture. And I wanted to know where it was based. Your answers were A, Brazil, B, Indonesia, C, Australia, D, Malaysia, E, Africa, or F, none of the above. And actually, this company, this progressive company, is located in Johannesburg, Africa, and they provide not just the kind of agri-tech, but they do infrastructure and supply chains and all kinds of other stuff. So it's a very intricate, interrelated kind of company. And I just chose this question because usually we're in electronics or electronics theory or ham radio, and I thought it would be interesting to go another route. I want to recognize the correct answers here. KE8ZZR, Harry, you had E. KE8DQX, Joe, you also had E. K4OG, Mark, you had E. KE8UIB, John, your family had it right, E. N8MWS, Pete, you had E. And WO3X, you chose E as well. You're all winners. Everybody's a winner in my book. Everybody that joins Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Weekly Net is always a win. So with that, I'm going to say thanks everybody for checking in. Thank you to those who checked in and out. I'm going to go ahead and allow this repeater to go back to normal amateur use at the hour of 8:56 p.m. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful evening, what's left of it, and a good start to the day tomorrow. This is W8WKY, actually WA8KOC. And I'll be clear, 7-3 everyone.
Well, Fred, as soon as you read that, I said, oh, it should have been E.
But that where all that nantastic and all that stuff is coming from. And that KCFQV.
Thanks for that, Mark. Fred, fine business. WAKOC, thanks. We are now going to be linking up so W2JLS can take over. He's running the net tonight. So stick around and give him some business. Everybody please stand by. I guess that's going to start in about 2.5 minutes. It's KD8 SLG clear.
KF8FFQ with a question, wondering if the astronomy net is on this frequency.
Oh, this is KI0AR. Yes, it is. I'm the net control. I'm just having some technical difficulties trying to get this thing set up. So those of you awaiting the Colorado Astronomy Net, please stand by. I need to get a few things started. I will get this started in just a few minutes. This is KI0AR Net, the Colorado Astronomy Net.
KI0AR, KF8FSQ, thank you very much, sir. You take your time. I hear you loud and clear. You sound great tonight.
This is W2JLS. Burness is getting things set up on his side. I'm happy to entertain check-ins. I think Burness is working out the YouTube feed, if I had to guess. We've got things set up on NetLogger, so you could check in there. But we could grab some check-ins while he's pulling it together over there. He's just getting back from his trip to Ohio hamvention, so he's got some rest and he's ready to jump in again tonight, and I guess we'll be tag teaming. So anyway, anyone wanting to check in while Burness is getting things staged, please call now.
Yeah, thank you. I think you said your name. You were W2JLS. This is Kilo Foxtrot 8, Foxtrot Sierra, Quebec. Patiently waiting. Thank you very much for taking check-ins.
Whiskey 3, Oscar Romeo Romeo, Whiskey 3, Oscar Romeo Romeo, W3ORR, Darrell in Fort Collins.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Delta Tango Alpha, KF8, DTA, Jeff New Franklin. I'll be in and out.
Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha. Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha. Good evening to Burness and whoever else is there.
Okay, I picked up, obviously we had Burness in there, KIOAR. I have Fred out there in Fenton, Michigan, KF8FSQ. Good evening to you, sir. Mr. Darrell out in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I have you, Whiskey 3ORR. And let's see, and then Jeff from New Franklin here in Ohio. Jeff, gather you're in and out. Call sign KF8DTA. And I did also picked up Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha. Good evening to you, sir. I'm not seeing you popping up on the NetLogger, but correct me if I've got the call sign wrong. Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha.
No, you've got it correct. Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha. The name's Graham and the location Scotland. Very good evening to you.
Excellent, Graham. Recognize your call, your voice, and I hope things are going smoothly out there in Scotland. Good to hear you tonight. And I'm happy to push you to the top of the list. If you're, I know it's more than a bit late over there. I'm sure Burness would be happy to entertain you early, if that means catching you before you leave. But let's check and see if Burness is back yet, and then he can get the net rolling take some additional check-ins if Burness is still pulling together. This is W2JLS. Okay, I don't hear Burness yet, but I'll do is I do want to ID myself and the station. I'm linked into the Skype network through the Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee repeater in Doylestown, Ohio. I am Whiskey 2 Juliet Lima Sierra John in Fairlawn, Ohio. Burness has asked me to help him out with the net for a couple of weeks. He was out traveling in Ohio last week, and he's back home in Colorado tonight, but I guess we'll be tag teaming the net this evening. It's my pleasure to bring our radio community here in Northeast Ohio out to join the Colorado Astronomy Net. So just wanted to lay the ID out there in the connection situation. We've got 5 or 6 check-ins, it looks like now, so I don't see we usually with Burness run feed on YouTube. We'll have check-ins there. He may have a bunch to add to the list once that happens. In the meantime, let's go back. Maybe we'll give our friend Graham out there in Scotland a chance to see if he's got anything for the net even before we get started, because I know it's late for him.
Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha. No, really quiet, John. I had an accident a number of weeks ago, and I broke my leg, so I've really not been out and about much. But I'm still been looking up at the skies, with my binocular and my scope. So at least I've been doing that. But very, very quiet apart from that. Not a lot happening. Back to yourself, John. Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha.
Mike 1, Echo Alpha. Geez, I'm really sorry about that broken leg. That's tough, Graham. I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, you can always get a big piece of nighttime sky with or without a broken leg. So, and I imagine you're part of Scotland. I mean, I know that you have big cities there too, Edinburgh and so forth. Are you in a place where you get a big patch of dark sky, or are you closer to the city lights? Back over.
No, we're in a lot of light pollution. It's quite bad here, so you really need to maybe travel 10, 15 miles to the hills to get it clear. But unfortunately, I've not been that lucky. Back to yourself.
Yeah, I have plenty of that myself here in Northeast Ohio. I'm closer to an urban area, and we're not too far from Cleveland, so we get some of the city light there. But you don't have to go far. If I venture further south, and a lot of our listeners here and my local repeater group live with big sky and less light, and I'm sure they are well entertained when it's not raining. And I think for us that we just crossed that line tonight. As I was sitting here in the radio room, I could hear the rain coming down. But anyway, it's really good that we got you in here early enough for you to say a few things, Graham. Can you maybe anything you like to observe? Are you a naked eye observer? Do you have a scope? Or I know you mentioned binoculars. Got any plans for things you might want to be doing here this spring in the night sky?
No, I'm actually quite a beginner, an amateur when it comes to anything to do with astrology in the sky. Only started picking it up maybe a couple of years ago, and I'm now 64, so a late starter. Anyway, back to yourself, John. Mike 1, Delta Echo Alpha.
Very good, Graham. W2JLS returning, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a late starter. You can always appreciate the sky. It doesn't have to be a serious hobby or anything. But yeah, great to hear you tonight, and I hope that lake heals up well for you. Let's see if our leader, let's see if Burnus Starman has got things sorted, and we can have his formal start to the net. This is W2JLS looking for you, Burnus. Kilo, India, 0, Alpha Romeo. You still there, Burnus?
W8WKY.
You bet, John. Yeah, I'm here. I got a few check-ins from YouTube. I'm still having issues with my screen, but let me copy down the few call signs I have over here. I am adding them into a NetLogger there, so got that going. Yeah, just trying to figure out what's. I got a nice big image of me as opposed to the logo in the background. That's all right. We'll deal with that. Let's see. We got James KD9 UJK. Thanks for checking in tonight. KE2FTG. Michael, thanks for checking in tonight. And Mike KO5AOK. Thanks for checking in tonight. And John KJ7AGQ. Thanks for checking in tonight. We already had a question from Michael KE2FTG. Have we talked about the recent Voyager 1 news lately? Probably so, but it's been a little while. But we usually save that for later in the program. In fact, I'll do some research on that, Michael, between now and then, and we'll give an update. For sure, we'll talk about a little bit about that. So stand by for that. This is KI0AR, net control with John, W2JLS over there. We're kind of tag teaming tonight, so I do appreciate that. And everybody joining us tonight.
Great, Burnus, I just wanted to get a heads up here. I have a NetLogger session opened as well. I don't know if we're double dealing with the Colorado Astronomy Net in NetLogger. That might create some confusion. I did try to pick up all the calls you mentioned. I'm not sure if you were dumping those into the same session that I have. I didn't see those. I have added them into my session. I'm sitting with 9 check-ins at this point. Can you confirm your situation there?
That is correct. That's why I couldn't. Bring it up, because it said it was already up. So you must have it up there already. For those of you who have YouTube, you might want to check it out and check out the new addition to the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm wearing it tonight, so had some T-shirts printed up. So you'll have to tell me what you can see on it. See if they.
Hey, John, I had a comment for you.
This is W2JLS. I believe that is KD8SLG jumping in. Nick, please go ahead, sir.
It was actually W3ORR. You mentioned Doylestown in Ohio. I grew up in the other Doylestown in Pennsylvania. W3ORR.
W3ORR. You sound suspiciously like my friend out here in Ohio, who operates on the Doylestown repeater and is the president of our Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association. Yeah, I am familiar with that Doylestown. I've never been there. But it's a small world, right? And there's more than one Doylestown within a relatively small stretch. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm betting you've got Big Sky out there, though. If I had to guess. Anyway, let's pass it back over to KI0AR. Maybe you can feedback on where we are. And did you want to start rolling the net formally, or do you want me to jump in? I do have a Sky report prepared if you need one. And I know Ed was preparing his rocket report. And then I've got a history piece. However you'd like to operate tonight, Bernice. I know you're the one that's just returning. So back over to you from W2 JLS.
I'll do the check-ins and the local astronomical news, and I'll let you do the bulletins. And we'll let Ed do the rocket report, and then I can go down the list. I'm kind of keeping track of the check-ins on YouTube as well as on listening over the air. Where'd they go? There you go. We got Patrick just got his tech license at the Hamvention, so congrats to that in Tennessee. Patrick, if you're listening in, if you could give me a city with that, I'd appreciate it. I'll just enter that in the chat there. W1DEN, Dennis in Texas. Thanks for checking in. All right, there we go. I'm just putting that in. Dennis, W1DEN, thanks for checking in tonight. It looks like we've got a great turnout. You may want to check out the new Colorado Astronomy Net t-shirts that I had made up. And I'm wearing that now. I may be giving those away. Now, I don't have too many of them, but I can't sell them, at least not through amateur radio. But we'll see how that works. The young lady that I have making them for me, maybe you guys can submit orders to her if you're interested. But we'll figure that out. But I got a few as gifts to hand out. So we'll see how that works. Where were we? Let me get into the announcements after I reset, and then get into the local astronomical news. That's why my AIM window isn't popping up with anybody checking in over there. Let's see, we'll just have to keep tabs on text there, John, just to make sure. You know what? I'll do that, and I'll just rattle off who I got checked in over on YouTube there.
Very good, Bernice. Please proceed.
Specifically what your interest and background in astronomy is a little bit later on when we go down the list. We'll go down the list and we'll try to keep it relatively short tonight and go from there. We'll see how it works, but I always like to touch base with my first-time check-ins and find out what's your interest background, if you're just starting out or you've been doing it for decades or somewhere in between, if you've got any particular interest within the astronomical realm that you like, things like that. So save that for 30 minutes or so. If you could hang around, I would definitely appreciate talking with you guys. So I don't have the list of new people on there right now. But announcements. So I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email and the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. Or you may visit the website at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. And the webpage is also a spot where you may submit your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my callsign, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the webpage and the newsletter. I also volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies, a youth group that meets out in Strasburg, Colorado on Friday evenings from 6 until 8 p.m. On Friday evenings, always looking for new members, freshmen through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high-power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full-scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy, radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. More than welcome to visit our website at iaas.org for more information, or check us out on Facebook under the same name, the International Association for Astronomical Studies. Also, a reminder that the Colorado Astronomy Net also has a Facebook page, so be sure to hop on there and like us both. We also have a club call sign, K0AAS. We hope to be active during field day, but we'll see. So if you happen to hear us on the air, be sure to hop on there and say hey to the students. Also, on Mondays and Wednesdays, Jack, KE0VH, hosts his flight sim presentations on YouTube under Captain Jack Flight Sim, CAPN. ACKFLTSIM, Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:30 until landing. Always a fun time for traveling along with him in the simulated skies, so that's definitely fun. Walker Customs 409, hello to you too over on YouTube, so that may be a new one as well, so thanks for that. For those of you who are new to the Colorado Astronomy Net over on YouTube, please post what's your interest background in astronomy. I'll pass that along as I see that pop up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get into the local astronomical news for this 19th day of May. Start off as usual with phases of the moon. We had a full moon back on the 1st. We had a last quarter moon on the 9th. New moon was on the 16th. Let's see, what is today? 19th. 17th, yeah, we were driving back from the Hamfest and saw a very thin sliver of a moon on the evening of the 17th as we were traveling west and watched that and Venus and Jupiter as well. We drove until Venus set and then found a hotel. So it was fun to watch those in the west as we drove along. We got a first quarter moon coming up on the 23rd and another full moon on the 31st. So this is a month of the blue moon. That is a month that contains 2 full moons, and this is one of those. The moon was at apogee, its farthest point away from the Earth this month, back on the 4th. It was 252,177 miles from Earth. The moon was at perigee, its closest approach to the Earth this month, on the 17th. It was 222,498 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for May. Venus and Jupiter are the top evening features for our observing run. After sunset in May, Jupiter also hosts a handful of exciting double transits and double shadow transits involving Europa and Ganymede. Saturn and Mars make a brief reappearance in the pre-dawn sky. By a crescent moon. Excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, May 2026, page 28. All right, continuing on with the planets. Mercury was at superior conjunction on the 14th. That means it was actually behind the sun on that morning. We're actually not going to see Mercury until the end of the month. After conjunction, Mercury returns to the evening sky, setting about 9:59 p.m. by month's end. It's actually now setting about 8:46, just about half an hour after the sun. So it's going to be very, very difficult to spot. Mercury is visible, let's see, about 30 minutes after sunset during the last week of the month. With it setting about 30 minutes after the sunset, you're going to miss it. Mercury moves from the constellation of Pisces into Gemini, shining at magnitude minus 0.6 on the 31st. Quick tutorial on magnitudes. The magnitude scale is an inverse logarithmic scale, meaning as the magnitudes increase, the apparent brightness of an object decreases by a factor of about 2.5. The dimmest object that the human eye can see under optimal conditions is about 6th magnitude. So a 5th magnitude object is 2.5 times brighter than a 6th magnitude object, while a 7th magnitude object is 2.5 times dimmer, and you'll definitely need a telescope or binoculars to spot those dimmer objects with the larger magnitudes. The magnitude scale is set up that every 5 magnitudes is a difference in brightness of 100. So these negative magnitudes are definitely ones you can see with the naked eye. In fact, go ahead and point telescopes and binoculars to those objects and bring out the details for sure. We got Venus. Venus is setting about 10:48 p.m. this week. Look for Venus to the west about 30 minutes after sunset. Venus moves from the constellation of Taurus into Gemini, shining at magnitude minus 3.9. So by the time the sun sets, Venus is very prominent. It's going to be the first object you see towards the west. up in the night sky. Don't confuse that with any aircraft that are moving through the skies as well. We got Mars rising about 4:30 a.m. of this week. Look for Mars low to the east in the morning about 30 minutes before sunrise as well. Mars moves from the constellation of Pisces into Aries, shining at magnitude 1.2. Then we got Jupiter. Jupiter is setting just a few minutes after midnight this week. Jupiter is high towards the southwestern sky and dominates the rest of the evening sky until it sets midnight. Jupiter is in the constellation of Gemini, shining at magnitude minus 1.9. In fact, Jupiter is going to be setting earlier and earlier, so this is about the transition. Tomorrow it's going to be setting just about midnight and then a little bit into the late evening hours for the rest of the month. So get out there and point your telescopes towards Jupiter, and maybe you'll see some of the Galilean moons, Ganymede, Europa, Callisto, and Io. Hopefully you might even see some transits. That's when the moon passes across the face of Jupiter, and you might see a dark dot. You might even see a shadow as well, so take a look at that. We got Saturn. Saturn is rising about 3:45 a.m. this week. Look for Saturn towards the east in the morning sky before sunrise. Saturn moves from the constellation of Cetus into Pisces, shining at magnitude 0.9. And we got Uranus will be in conjunction with the Sun on the 22nd. So after conjunction, Uranus returns to the morning sky, rising about 5:05 a.m. by month's end. But for all intents and purposes, Uranus is not visible for the rest of the month. It's going to be lost in the sun's twilight glow, definitely for the next several days, and definitely for the last week of the month as well. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.8. Of you are checking in via YouTube, I do appreciate that. I'll get you acknowledged in just a bit. We'll finish the astronomical news, and then I'll acknowledge you guys over there. So, hello to the YouTubers. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys checking in. Neptune is rising about 3:15 a.m. this week. Look for Neptune towards the east in the morning sky before sunrise. Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.8. For dwarf planets, we have Ceres was in conjunction with the Sun on the 14th. The same goes with Ceres as well as Uranus. Right now, it's definitely lost in the twilight glow of the Sun. Conjunction Ceres also returns to the morning sky, rising about 5:17 a.m. by month's end. So right now it's rising within a half an hour of the Sun, so it's going to be, by the time it got high enough, the Sun will have already risen for Ceres as well as Uranus, so those two are basically out for the rest of the month. Ceres moves from a constellation of Aries into Taurus, shining at magnitude 8.7. Then we got Pluto. Okay, Siri on my phone is helping me out there. It's confusing Siri and the series. All right, Pluto, let's see, is rising about 1 a.m. this week. Pluto can be spotted to the south before sunrise. Pluto's in the constellation of Capricorn, shining at magnitude 15.2. As always, good luck at spotting Neptune, Ceres, and Pluto a large and dark skies will be needed. With Pluto, at least a 12 to 14-inch telescope will definitely be needed, and very, very dark skies. So actually, right now is a good time, right after the new moon, to attempt to spot Pluto. Lots of patience is definitely required to see if you can, several nights of observing, maybe even some photography involved, to see which little dot in that particular area actually moves relative to the background skies. So definitely a tricky one to spot there. Showers. We have the Eta Aquarius meteor shower has come and on. It peaked back on the 5th. However, on any dark night, if you're lucky, you might see a meteor or two streaking through the skies. We do have also a comet. Comet 10P Temple, or Temple 2, is brightening to about 9th magnitude, maybe a little bit brighter as well, passing through the constellations of Aquila, the Eagle, and just above Sagittarius. So it's going to be low towards the south, the southern sky, but it may brighten some, but you'll definitely need those dark skies again to see a little fuzzball traveling through the skies. You will need that telescope for sure. That's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Go ahead and acknowledge Amber. KF0WRW, thanks for checking in tonight. And let's see, Walker, there we go. We'll copy that down as well and put that on the list. So thanks for checking in tonight over on YouTube. And let's see. VA3AOA. Did I time this sucker out? I must have. This is KI0AR. I'll call for more check-in. Anyone else wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Control, this is Kilo India 7, Papa Kilo Lima, KI7 PKL.
Kilo Mike 6, Victor Alpha Yankee, Kilo Mike 6, Victor Alpha Yankee. Steve in Colorado Springs. Hi, Vernon.
Okay, good evening to you, Roy, KI7PKL. Thanks for checking in tonight. And Steve, KM6BAY. Thanks for checking in tonight. I'm going to pass this over now to John, W2JLS, for the presentation this evening, and then we'll get on with that. And then, well, let me do one more thing before I do that. There we go. ISS passes. For those of you who are interested in ISS passes over your local area, you may want to check out this particular call or this particular website. www. Is that showing up? That's not showing up. Yeah, okay, that's weird. Apologies. www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. You may want to check out that website. I like this particular website because you can sign up, enter in your home coordinates, then you can click on a particular pass of interest. Right now, I don't know if I'm displaying that over on YouTube or not, but you can click on a particular date of interest and pull up a nice star chart of that particular path over your local area. And it gives you the constellations that it's passing through. And what you can expect to see. I pulled up one. I don't know whether that's showing or not. But it actually finishes about halfway through the sky, passing just below the constellation of Ursa Major. In the next couple of weeks, it's for a pass that's coming up on the 22nd over in the Denver area at like 10:26 p.m. It's a short one, but it's interesting to watch the ISS disappear into the Earth's shadow. Again, that website, www.heavens-above.com, for more information on that. That's it for that bulletin. I'm going to pass it over to John, W2JLS. Go ahead with your topic tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
KI0AR, this is W2JLS entering the fray. Thanks, Burnus. Good to have you back, and I hope you had fun out there at Hamvention. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get down there. It's close enough to be there every year and far enough away that when you're busy, I don't have time. So there's that. And let me take a moment to ID my repeater because I'm logged in through there. I'm operating on the Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee in Doylestown, Ohio. We're connected on Allstar into the Sky Hub link network. So just wanted to share that for people who are checking into my repeater, wondering what's going on. This is the Colorado Astronomy Net, and Burnus is letting us merge into the net tonight, as well as President Nick out here at the Whiskey Kilo Yankee. So, yeah, as far as my presentation tonight, Burnus, yeah, I was just mentioning I did. I wasn't sure if you'd be here at all, so I did throw together a sky report I will just mention, a couple of things there. You cover things very thoroughly. I'm not trying to correct anything. I will just kind of point out the symmetry of, I was in here last week and we had a waning crescent moon, and we passed through the new moon, as you mentioned. Great for naked eye observing, and now we're shifting back. We got the crescent on the other side, with waxing crescent moon in the western sky after sunset tonight. But it's at that, when it's coming up like that, the horizon, it's a good time to look for the dim outline of the moon's darker portion glowing faintly. That's the sun's reflected light, aka earthshine, or the Da Vinci glow. Kind of a neat thing to look for tonight if you're just out there with the naked eyes. Let's see if there's anything else worth sharing out of my notes for the sky report. Yeah, nothing big. You covered all the big stuff. I will mention my favorite constellation is it's trying to make its departure now. It's that time of year where Orion is departing the evening stage for the season and sinking off into the western sky. So if you want one more look at Betelgeuse and I'm sure some of your favorite constellation, some of your favorites constellation is Orion. It's out there. Get a good last look because it'll be back, right? Yeah. And two, last year was one of the coolest things for naked eye astronomy observing. I think that, not last year, it's like in the last couple of years with the dimming of Betelgeuse and Orion. I think that was a pretty big deal, really. I remember, hearing about it and then going out, and it was very obvious in that late 2019, early 2020 window where Orion's Betelgeuse was unusually dim and dimmer, and you're like, wow, what in the world's going to happen here? And all the speculation about Betelgeuse going supernova and all of that was kind of it was circulating throughout social media. And people were like wishing it to happen. Honestly, I would miss Betelgeuse quite a lot. The symmetry and the very familiar form of Orion. If Betelgeuse were suddenly gone, I don't wish that at all. That's a personal thing. But I would say, even when it was dimming, it felt like, whoa, that's a little disturbing. Relative to the dimming, at the time, a lot of folks were thinking it was like the pre-show for what would eventually become a supernova. But as it turned out, some of the data has come back from the Hubble and other observation. The belief is that dimming was caused by a very large solar mass ejection, being spewed off of Betelgeuse and creating a dust cloud that was Earth facing, so that we were the view of Betelgeuse was dimmed. But yeah, frankly, I'm glad to have her back to near full strength. So yeah, Orion, going to disappear for a while. Okay, moving out of what was left of my sky report, I will move back over to. I don't know if we were looking to get, like in my list, Bernice, this is where you would stick the rocket report in with Ed W6RDZ if you want to do that, and I can come back and do my topic for the evening. I'm happy to do that. I don't know if Ed was in there waiting yet or not. I'll pass it back over to you for clarity.
John, go ahead with your report. I haven't heard from Ed yet. I haven't seen him. I don't know if you've seen him pop up over on your AIM window on NetLogger, and I haven't heard him on the radio. So go ahead with your report, and we'll catch up with Ed in a few minutes. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Bert. W2JLS returning. Yeah, for this week in astronomy history, I targeted a character that, at least in our culture, is lesser known. This gentleman's name was Ola Rumer. Ola Rumer was... he was a part-time astronomer. He did lots of different things. Ultimately, was kind of a public figure in engineering and city administration in Copenhagen. He studied at the University of Copenhagen. But the story tonight goes back to 1976, and here his story comes from a very different period of time. You know, there were no modern telescopes, no spacecraft, no computers, no CCD cameras or internet, no artificial intelligence, just patient observers, you know, in some cases looking up night after night. And one of those was this gentleman, Ola Rumer. And Rumer, he was careful about watching Jupiter with his scope and was looking at its large moon, Io. And he would note that Io periodically disappears behind Jupiter and then reappears, you know, and thought, you know, he would track this through time, and he did, and, you know, kind of like a cosmic clock, he was becoming better and better at predicting when Io would, you know, reappear off the edge of Jupiter. And, you know, he got so he could predict the appearances quite well with impressive regularity, you know, like the universe was keeping time. You know, by that time, Tycho had measured the sky. You know, we know him from, I learned about him as a kid with Cosmos and Carl Sagan, but Tycho Brahe was the known observer and took great notes. I mean, he passed them to Kepler, who took that data and helped us evolve some mathematical laws to predict, you know, how things worked. And then Galileo, you know, discovered Jupiter's moons. And here this guy is looking at Io and then trying to predict clockwork behavior. But as he did this, he noticed something unsettling. He was like, wow, the clock isn't quite behaving. Sometimes Io emerged much earlier than expected, or sometimes later. And it wasn't by seconds, it was by minutes. So he's checking his math and looking at his data and wondering what's going on here. You know, so you might think at first this is observational error or poor measurement. But, you know, he kept watching, and the differences turned out to not be random. And what he eventually recognized was, you know, that there was something funny going on with light, okay? It's obvious to us now, but in his day, you know, per Aristotle, light was an instantaneous kind of thing. It didn't take time to travel. It just was always there. So, you know, for thousands of years, there were some that kind of thought, hey, maybe there's something to this. There was a Greek guy, Empedocles, who proposed that light traveled and might require time to move from one place to the next. But, you know, by the time you had esteemed fellows like Galileo attempting to measure the speed of light by placing assistants with lanterns on hilltops and timing responses, Galileo failed and essentially recognized, hey, if light has a speed, it's too fast for me to see it with this approach. So what this guy, Ola, happened into by his observations of Io was hey, I can see a difference, and this time isn't random. And he did recognize that this has got to be because light takes time to move through space. Now, he didn't himself put together the actual speed of light, but it was probably within a couple of years that Christian Huygens, also Danish, put together that the speed of light was, I think his figure was something on the order of 220 or 230 kilometers per second. The modern value is obviously larger. It's 300,000 kilometers per second, but that's not too shabby. You know, playing with the orbits of Io to pull that together, I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, we had a lot of callers tonight, Bernice, so I don't want to hog the airwaves, but that was my share for this evening. Again, thanks for letting me help you out tonight and take the mic, and thanks to the repeater group at the Whiskey Kilo Yankee, and also Sky Hub for letting us connect there too. Passing it back, Bernice, from W2JLS.
All right, John, thanks for that, W2JLS. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Ed is standing by, so I will call on Ed, W6RDZ, for tonight's rocket report. W6RDZ, are you ready to present the rocket report? Go ahead.
Good evening, Bernice, and good evening to the net. Yes, I am ready to give a rocket report, maybe a shorter one tonight, but I'm ready to go. How am I sounding? W6RDZ, back to net.
Ed, please go ahead. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Good evening, Bernice, and good evening to the net. This is W6RDZ with tonight's rocket report. We had 5 launches this past week. First one was on Wednesday, the 13th. China's land space launched a 2.8 metric ton mass simulator on a test flight of their new CQ-E2 rocket, going to polar orbit from Site 96A at the Jiquan Satellite Launch Center in China. All right, second launch of the week, Thursday, May 14th, China's CAST successfully launched a Kinetica 1 rocket from Site 130 at the Jiquan Satellite Launch Center in China. The payload was a 5-satellite rideshare to sun-synchronous orbit. Third launch was on Friday, March 15th. After multiple scrubs for bad weather, SpaceX successfully launched the CRS SPX-34 mission on a Falcon 9 departing Slick Canaveral, Florida at 16:50 Mountain Daylight Time. This was a commercial unmanned supply mission to the International Space Station in low Earth orbit. That was a Cargo Dragon spacecraft. The Cargo Dragon freighter docked with the ISS 2 days later on May 17th. That brings us up to the Sunday, May 17th launch operation or K6. We're going to have to reset the repeater there. All RDZ back with the rocket report. We were talking about K6 launch on Sunday, May 17th of the Space Sail Polar Group number 9 mission on a Long March 8 rocket from Wenchang, China. The payload was 18 low Earth orbit communication satellites for the G60 constellation. The constellation will consist of 1,296 satellites initially, with plans to expand to 12,000 satellites. And yesterday, Monday, May 18th, China and the European Space Agency teamed up to successfully launch the SMILE mission on a Vega C rocket built by Avio from the Guiana Space Center, French Guiana, South America. SMILE stands for Solar Wind Magnetic Ionosphere Link Explorer. That's a joint venture between ESA and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. SMILE will image for the first time the magnetosphere in soft X-rays and UV for up to 40 hours per orbit to elucidate the dynamic interactions between solar wind and the Earth's magnetosphere. To do this, it has to achieve a highly elliptical orbit with an apogee of some 120,000 kilometers. That's 19 Earth radii, or about the third of the 6th successful Vega launch and the 144th orbital launch of 2026. W6RDZ back with the rocket report. Now we're up to upcoming launches next week. Later this evening, at 2026 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX plans to launch Starlink Group 14-42 on a Falcon 9 from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base. Yeah, that's about 20 minutes away. Second launch Thursday, May 21st at 3:26 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX intends to launch Starlink Group 10-31 from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral. Third launch next week, upcoming week, Thursday, May 21st. That's the big one. SpaceX hopes to launch Starship Flight 12 from Pad 2 at Starbase, Texas. We'll talk more about that later. Fourth launch, Friday, May 22nd. Rocket Lab is scheduled to launch the Via Las Trix mission. That's a Chinese satellite constellation. On an Electron Curie rocket from the Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand. Fifth launch, Saturday, May 23rd, SpaceX has rescheduled to launch Starlink Group 17-37 on a Falcon 9 from Pad Slick 4 at Vandenberg Space Force Base at 8 in the morning Mountain Time. Our repeater there. W6RDZ back with the rocket report. Sixth launch, May 24th. China Aerospace and Science Corporation, CASIC. They hope to launch the Shenzhou 23 mission on a Long March 2S/G rocket from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in China. This will be the 17th crewed Chinese flight and will carry 3 Chinese astronauts to the Chinese space station. 7, May 24th, SpaceX is scheduled to launch Starlink Group 10-27 on a Falcon 9 from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral, Florida. And our last launch of the week is scheduled for Tuesday, May 26th. China Aerospace and Science Corporation hopes to launch an undisclosed payload on a Long March 7 rocket from the Wenchang Space Launch Site in China. All right, that brings us up to the big news, and that's, of course, the Starship Flight 12. We've had several small slips to the launch date in the last week, but we're getting closer. The best date now is the scheduled launch, not for tomorrow. That's an error. It's going to be Thursday at 16:30 Mountain Daylight Time. Ship 39, Booster 19, and Pad 2 are moving through final preparations for Starship 12's flight test. RDZ, we're going to reset the repeater. W6RDZ, back with the rocket report. We're talking about the scheduling for Starship 12 test flight, Flight 12. If that doesn't work out Thursday, there's also Friday. However, SpaceX is not permitted to launch and on the closed beach over the holiday weekend. So Memorial Day, they're going to have to wait till Tuesday if they don't get it off Thursday or Friday. All right. This will be the first flight of the Block 3 version of the ship booster and Raptor engine. The Block 1 booster produced a little over 70 meganewtons of thrust, more than twice that of the Saturn V. The new Block 3 will produce over 80 meganewtons of thrust. This is the rocket that will allow us to achieve a permanent moon base and the colonization of Mars. This is the first flight test of a new rocket, a new engine, and a new pad. Flight 12 will test major version 3 upgrades, including simultaneous Raptor 3 ignition, a new southeast trajectory, and Starlink 3 simulator deployments, and an in-space Raptor relight. Booster 19 will splash down rather than attempt to catch, while Ship 39 test systems will be testing systems tied to future lunar and Mars missions. I should also note that SpaceX may be eyeing a future Starship site in Louisiana. We'll reset the repeaters. This is W6RDZ back with the rocket report. Well, that's it for the Colorado Astronomy Net's rocket report. This is W6RDZ, Rocketman Ed, wishing you a good night and nominal flight. Now back to Starman Burnett, KI0AR, net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
All right, thanks for that, Ed. Forgot to check in Jim, KD9UJK over on YouTube as well. So great turnout over on YouTube, so thanks for that. And be sure to like the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, you could do that as well. So I'm just looking at, we got a ton of people on there. So I do appreciate everybody checking in tonight. Let me see. I think I'm gonna reorder this. There we go. I'm going to let John go down the list and call on everybody since he has the official check-in list for tonight. And those of you who are on YouTube, if you can't get audio directly, if you've got any questions or comments or anything you'd like to pass along, post them over in the chat window, and I'll pass them along as we get down the list. Or as I see them pop up, we'll check in with John every now and then and see if there's any comments over there. There we go. So I'm going to pass this back over to John and let him go down the list. John, are you ready to see what everybody has for the net? Questions, comments, observation reports, anything you'd like to share with the net? Now's the time to do it. John, looks like you're the first on the list, and then I'll let you carry on from there. Go ahead.
W8WKY.
This is W2JLS, John in Farallon, returning, operating from the Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee repeater into the Sky Hub link network. So, good evening, everybody. Bernice, thanks for passing the mic back. I'll run down the list. We've got a pretty hefty group here, and I apologize. I know there was at least one gentleman on line 14 that was inadvertently cleared. So if you're looking at the list, you don't see yourself, I'll offer an opportunity for anyone to take a quick look at NetLogger, and if you want to jump down my throat, this would be a good time to do it. So let me just, we'll take a moment. Anyone want to check in that doesn't see themselves on the list, and you can yell at me if you had a slot and it got lost, okay? So anyone else wanting to join the list? Okay, hearing nothing, I don't want to slow this down any further. Let's get up to the top. Let's see if we can find Frederick out there in Fenton. Kilo Foxtrot 8, Foxtrot Sierra, Quebec. Are you still there, Fred, out there in Fenton?
Yeah, I sure am. W2GLS, this is KF8FSQ. I did have a question. I entered it in there in NetLogger, but I suspect almost instant messenger means that you haven't gotten it yet. My question for you and the Colorado Astronomy Net is my grid square is EN82, and I'm wondering how far north do I need to go to see some auroras? All right, back to you. This is KF8FSQ.
Let's take a quick look here. I'm going to cheat. I have access to a computer, and I'm not sure what the report will be for aurora observations tonight. Looking at your location in Fenton, Michigan, I mean, I kind of like your chances of being that far north, but let's see if we can get an aurora report. Fenton, Michigan. And maybe we get lucky. I don't remember seeing any major solar activity that would have peaked, but let's see. Aurora visibility depends much more on geomagnetic activity, obviously, KP index and such. So let's see if they've got something here for Fenton. Yeah, at latitude 43 north, and even myself, I'm here at 41. Fenton is about 2 degrees further north than me, and yeah, it's probably, I'm not seeing an indication that your KP index is going to support that, but I mean, it won't hurt to look, right? To begin with, do you have a clear sky? Back over to you, Fred.
Yeah, I appreciate your feedback there. I guess my question is, generally, how far north, from a latitude perspective, should I plan to travel if I want to see northern lights? Back to you.
W2JLS returning. Yeah, Fred, it's going to depend mainly on the geomagnetic activity at any given time to answer that directly. But I will say, even being further south than you, I was making a trip from, I live here in Farallon, close to Akron, and I took a trip to Columbus a couple of months back, and solar activity was pretty impressive at the time, and on the way driving north from Columbus to the greater Akron area, coming through parts where you didn't have a lot of city light, I mean, you could very easily see auroral activity. So I would encourage you to get online and search for websites, and Bernice probably has an idea or two. Maybe you could pop a link into YouTube or the AIM window where you can actually access the geomagnetic activity, and that would be probably indicating your best bet, and you might be surprised. I think if you're in a part of Michigan that's very dark, you might be able to see it from home, I would say, if it's dark and the sky is right. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I have an echo. Hold on. Yeah, it is. The trouble is trying to figure out how far north I need to go. If I need to go to the Upper Peninsula, if I'm okay to go to the Dark Sky Park in northern Michigan, in the Lower Peninsula. I think you answered my question, though. The Dark Sky Park is in the southern peninsula of Michigan, northeastern. So I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. This is KF8FSQ saying thank you to you in the net.
Very good, Frederick. Yeah, good luck looking up. Naked eye observing is one of my favorite things to do as far as astronomy goes, and you might find you get lucky up there in Michigan for sure. But yeah, refer to the geomagnetic activity. That'll be the guide on your likelihood of success. Okay, let's move on down the list. I think we had next Daryl out in Wyoming. Let's see if Daryl is still out there. Whiskey 3, Oscar, Romeo. Whiskey 3, Oscar, Romeo. I guess rodeo works too. Daryl, last shot. Are you out there, sir? Do you have anything for the net? Okay, hearing nothing, we're going to move on down to Jeffrey out there in New Franklin. Jeff, I know you mentioned earlier you were in and out. I recall that directly. So thanks for checking in. If you're still listening, I'll give you a moment if you want to pop in. Okay, and I look like Graham out in Scotland stuck around for quite a while. I did see him sign off from YouTube, but I'll just acknowledge Mike 1 DEA. It's a great call sign, Mike 1 DEA, Mike idea, kind of cool. Graham, if you're still listening, please call now. Betting you're gone. Okay, moving down to Alan out in Trotwood. Alan, Kilo Bravo 8, Uniform Kilo, are you there, sir? Okay, hearing nothing, we'll move down the list to Mark out in Meridian, Idaho. Kilo Juliet 7 Alpha Juliet, Quebec. Are you there, sir? Do you have anything for the Colorado Astronomy Net? Okay, hearing nothing. How about KE2FEG? I may have the call sign wrong. It's not populating automatically in NetLogger. KE2FEG or something similar. Are you out there? Okay, very good. I'll take a moment to re-identify. This is Whiskey 2 Juliet Lima Sierra John in Fairlawn, Ohio for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Let's look for Dennis out in Hazlitt. Whiskey 1 Delta Echo November. Are you there, sir? What do you have for the net?
W8WKY.
I don't know, Bernice. I'm getting a lot of radio silence. I think some of these guys that called in early have cleared, but we'll persevere. We'll push on. So Paul out in Utah was next in the log. Say Whiskey Alpha 7 Gulf Victor Lima.
Good evening to you and good evening to the net. I'm here. And I have already downloaded Heavens Above. I think it's a great site, so I've created an account. And I'm also looking on rocketlaunch.org, and it looks like in 23 minutes there is a rocket Space Launch Complex 4E in Vandenberg Air Force Base. It's a Falcon 9 rocket. And I used to live in Santa Maria, which was roughly 30 miles away, and we not only got to see the rockets go up, but feel them too. And the reason I bring all this up, I checked, and sure enough, it was a rocket from Vandenberg. I'm here in Cedar City, Utah. We have great dark skies here, almost no street lights anywhere, and so in a few minutes, about 20 anyway, I will be in the backyard waiting to see if I see this one, another from Vandenberg. Brings back good memories for me. And with that, this is WA7GVL, Cedar City, Utah, home of the dark sky.
WA7GVL. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Paul. It's pretty cool. I imagine the rockets so close you can feel them in your chest and the boom and the vibration, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. Cool. Thanks for your check-in tonight from Cedar City. Moving down the list, we have next Robert out in Ohio, Barberton. This is not far from me. Kilo Alpha 8 Lima Yankee Juliet. Are you still there, Robert?
W2JLS, this is KA8LYJ. Good evening, John. Yeah, I'm still here. I don't really have anything for the group other than thanks for linking up. It was really interesting. I especially like the rocket report. Yeah, I'll give it back to you, KA8LYJ.
Yeah, thanks for that, Robert, and thanks for checking in. I don't know if we'll continue to do the Colorado Astronomy Net from our local repeater here, but I appreciate you guys supporting and checking in. Bernice does this show for the last 30 years. He's been running it out of Colorado, and we get Ed to do the rocket report every week, and I think that's a fan favorite for sure. And the list of launches is just getting thick and deep as time goes by. So yeah, if you like the rocket report, whether it's here on the Whiskey Kilo Yankee or not, you can pick it up on Allstar Echolink And Burness keeps a nice website for the Colorado Astronomy Net, online, so you can get all the details. And I'm happy to help you any way I can with that. Let's see who we've got next here. I think Jay was next. Alpha India 7 Oscar Foxtrot. I know I struggled with your call. My apologies out there in Laramie. Are you still there, Jay?
Whiskey to Juliet Lima Sierra. This is Alpha India 7 Oscar Foxtrot. Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for running the net tonight. The Colorado Astronomy Net has been running for a while, and thanks for backing up Burness. And to the net, my favorite constellation is probably Orion, because it always shows up about this time of year, the winter hunter. And the exploding Betelgeuse, we'll see. And I think that's about it. Favorite constellation is probably Pleiades. The first time I got a telescope, I saw Orion Nebula for the first time. So yeah, that whole region of space is kind of my favorite. Back to net. This is Alpha India 7 Oscar Foxtrot.
Alpha India 7 Oscar Foxtrot. Jay, yeah, thanks for that. Orion, as I mentioned earlier, is clearly my favorite from childhood forward, and it is a very interesting piece of the night sky. And you mentioned the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, spectacular. Maybe this is new to you, and maybe it's not. But if it is new, I encourage you to look into it. Last year, some academic research came through confirming with some mathematical observations tied to Betelgeuse that Betelgeuse has a companion star that's often, for a long time I should say, been suspected, but somebody mathematically confirmed it, and they named that star last year Siwara. Siwara, I believe it's Siwara. But Siwara, when I looked at that name, one of the things that occurred to me is that's an interesting name, and it didn't sound like an accident. When I looked up Siwara, that name meant, and I think it's Arabic, I think it meant her bracelet. And I thought, well, that's odd. Why would you give Orion a name like her bracelet? And when I explored that further, I learned that Orion, the great hunter in our Western tradition, actually the Romans pulled that one out of their hat, was previously known to folks in the desert that by name, and that name translated into English meant the middle. So the big constellation in the middle was kind of the reason for that. And the middle, constellation Orion was itself had a different name, and that name was more feminine name, and it meant not a hunter, but it was like a goddess of sorts. So you might do some research, look into that if you're really interested in that part of the night sky. There's another story hidden in history there that antedates even Orion. Anyway, sorry for the derailment. Okay, let's move down the list. I think next we had N8WB out in Wadsworth, Ohio. Stephen, are you still there, sir? What have you got for the net? Okay, hearing nothing from N8WB. Let's move on down to President Nick, KD8SLG, also in Ohio. What's going on, Nick? Are you still out there in Orville tonight, or are you down on the farm. Okay, looks like President Nick dropped off. Moving down the list, I have November 5, Zulu, India, Quebec. Moy, our fan favorite, Moy, are you still out there in Houston listening tonight?
Good evening, John. How are you all doing? Good evening to the net. N5ZIQ Moy out here in cloudy Houston, Texas, waiting on the heavy rain to come in town. We got one coming in from the north right now, and then there's going to be another one in about 2 hours coming in from the hill country, Austin, San Antonio area coming this way. So we just wanted to let you all know that we appreciate you sharing all this rain for us, you know, from the Colorado area. So have a good night, guys. Y'all have a great evening. We'll see you next time. N5ZIQ Moy, I'll be clear.
Excellent, Moy. Thanks for sticking in there tonight. Good to hear you in the air. I know you were one of the earlier check-ins, but the way I was recording things tonight was not first in, first out. I appreciate your patience, and thanks for sharing with the net. Let's move on to Chad, if he's still out there in Highlands Ranch in Colorado. Chad, KF0 UUC. Are you still there, Chad? What have you got for the net? Okay, moving on. Sorry, we must have lost Chad. Let's try. Oh, it's the Rocket Man. So, Ed, out there in Broomfield, Whiskey 6 RDZ. Are you there, sir?
Today we had a guest speaker at work, Mike Mullane, an astronaut on a few space shuttle missions. And he gave a great presentation, and he has a book called Riding Rockets, which I imagine is a pretty good book after seeing his presentation. So, anyway, thanks for the net. Back to you.
Ed, can you take a quick moment just for the listeners that may not know? Clearly, you're tied to the industry somehow. Maybe you could fill folks in a little bit. What do you do that you're so plugged in, meeting astronauts and such? Back over to you, sir.
Got that. Thank you. No, the theme of this presentation was for engineering and best safety practices, things like that. I am in the medical field, so not aerospace, but there's a lot of great lessons that can be learned for all engineers from, you know, the shuttle mission and the things that went wrong with that program. That was a theme, and the presentations were engineers in general, and yeah, that's why he was invited, and I was involved in that. Back to net.
Very cool. Thanks, Ed, for sharing that. Appreciate it. Whiskey 6 RDZ, the Rocket Man. Yeah, and you had, by the way, Ed, if you were listening in, you've got fans. People are in Ohio enjoying the Rocket Report tonight. Very cool. Let's see. We'll move on down to Frederick, Kilo Foxtrot 8, Foxtrot, Sierra, Quebec. I think we took you already, Fred, so I maybe had you in the list twice, but heck, say hello again if you're still there. Any other comments for the net?
on. Let's slide on down to John in Nevada. Kilo Golf 7 Alpha India Quebec. One last chance out there in Reno. John, are you still there? Kilo Golf 7 Alpha India Quebec. Do you have anything for the Colorado Astronomy Net? Okay, moving on to New York. Cornwall, New York. Kilo Echo 2 Foxtrot Tango Golf. Are you out there, Michael? Okay, we have another shot at a different Michael. This is a gentleman in Claremore, Oklahoma. Kilo Oscar 5 Alpha Oscar Kilo. That's a cool call sign. You got a KO and an OK going on there. Are you there, Michael? Do you have anything for the net? Okay, hearing nothing from Oklahoma. Let's slide on down to, let's say, state of Washington. John, are you there? Kilo Juliet 7 Alpha Golf Quebec. Okay, hearing nothing, I'll just take a quick moment to ID. It's John, W2JLS in Farallon for the Colorado Astronomy Net, in here tonight with Burness and the Rocket Man Ed, and we're just running down the list. Let's see, we've got about 4 or 5 more check-ins before we get to YouTube folks who can't chime in, but we will press on. Next in the list was Amber out in Buena Vista. Kilo Fox Trot 0 Whiskey Romeo Whiskey. Miss Amber, are you out there? Do you have anything for the net? Nothing heard. Let's try Victor Echo 3 Alpha Oscar Alpha. Elizabeth, I think I picked you up from YouTube. I'm not sure if you're listening, but you may have just checked in through YouTube. But do you have anything for the Colorado Astronomy Net? Okay, we'll move on. No Elizabeth in Mississauga. Maybe next time. Let's see. We have Roy next. Kilo India 7 Papa Kilo Lima. Papa Kilo Lima. Roy, are you out there in Portland tonight? What do you have for the Colorado Astronomy Net?
Hey, well, good evening, John and Berners and everybody on the net. And actually sitting here processing some images from last night. Haven't been doing much of that lately. But fortunately, we actually had a good night. It happens. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good night, and we will talk to you down below at KI7 PKO.
Roy, good to hear you tonight, sir. Hope you're having a fine evening out there, and have a good rest of the week. Let's see, we have, after Roy, Stephen, Kilo Mike 6, Victor Alpha Yankee, out in Fort Collins, Colorado. What do you have for the net, Stephen? Let's try that again, Stephen. Kilo Mike 6, Victor Alpha Yankee. Are you still with us, Stephen, out there in Colorado? Okay, hearing nothing from Fort Collins, let's move on to Lynchburg, Ohio. WE8M, David, with us. I know it's you've been long on this list and maybe stepped off. Do you have anything for the Colorado Astronomy Net?
W2JLS and the net. This is WE8M. Good evening to you, John and Bernice. I have not really done anything in astronomy in the last few weeks because I've been hyper-focused on Hamvention, my 41st one. So I'm just starting to feel a little bit normal after Hamvention, and really, this year is one of the few years that at Hamvention I did not see any astronomy-related items, but I probably missed it. There's so much there to see. Anyway, that's all I really got. And 73 to everyone up on the net. This is WE8M. Back to net.
WE8M. I'm pretty sure if you ran into Bernice, you would have seen an astronomer. Last week we were talking about maybe Bernice needed to be wearing a spacesuit that Ed had sitting about out in Colorado. Maybe next year you'll see an astronomy-related item. And if you're there next year, Bernice was suggesting he plans to be there again. So, and maybe Bernice will chime in with anything astronomy-related he may have run into, because I'm sure he would have had an eye out for it. Bernice, you want to jump in there?
Oh, you bet. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. David, yeah, we missed each other. I was probably the only astronomical thing you'd see out there. I was wearing my new T-shirt, which says Colorado Astronomy Net. I'm wearing that now. If you want to hop onto YouTube and check that out, I was wearing that for at least. Yeah, I was wearing that 2 days. It got a little chilly the last day, but I was hoping to run into somebody out there. The green laser people had that, so I actually picked up a new green laser, a lot more powerful than the one I have, so that's going to go into the bin, but I didn't see too much other than that. Who knows, maybe it would be neat to set up a scope and do some slow scan images or something like that, but with the weather being the weather out there, you were well aware of that as well, so might be a little tricky to keep the scopes dry, that's for sure, outside anyway. That's about it. I didn't see too much out there astronomical related. Didn't even see anybody with satellite dishes, which I was kind of surprised. But that's about all I got. This is KI0AR. Back to net.
Thanks, Bernice. W2JLS returning. WE8M. David, do you have any additional comments for Bernice or the net? Back over to you.
Okay, well, yeah, I would have loved to meet up with you, Bernice, but Hamvention every year is so overwhelming. I had like 3 or 4 groups I was meeting up with. And bouncing all over the place, and you know how chaotic it can be. So maybe we need to set up a in advance a way to meet, maybe at the flagpole at noon, like one group I was meeting with. Who knows? There are so many people. Yeah, I did my 41st hamvention. That kind of blows my mind, because my first one was before I became a ham, and 40 hamventions later, here we are. So, yeah, it kind of becomes a sickness when you live so close to Dayton, because that's where I was born and raised. So, anyway, I'll turn it back over to Nat so you can turn it over to the next people on the net. 73 to everyone. This is WEAM.
WE8M. David, thank you for your comments. And yeah, you are well positioned out there in Lynchburg. In 41 years, that's pretty impressive. That's something to brag about if you're a ham. I'm closer to DX Engineering than you, and I go there probably less frequently than I'd like, but that's only because I know when I get there I have a hard time not spending. So anyway, 23 to you, sir. Thanks for checking into the Colorado Astronomy Net. I will take a moment just to acknowledge some YouTube folks. Walker Custom 409, hello to you, sir. I didn't see a call, so we can't welcome you in other than to say hi. And Tom 23rd, YouTube, hello to you, sir, if you're listening. Thank you for looking in on the YouTube channel, as well. Patrick Wesley 6845 out there on YouTube in Tennessee. Hello to you, sir. Good evening on your ears. And we'll move on down. I do have one regular call still left out in Blue Island, Illinois. Kilo Delta 9, Uniform Juliet Kilo. Are you out there, James? Are you still waiting to talk to the Colorado Astronomy Net? What do you have? Okay, looks like number 33, James, is not there in Illinois, or if you are, you're just listening at this point, maybe fading off to sleep. Let's see, I make it 10:49 Eastern. Burnus, for you, I think that's 9:49 Mountain. And I will, let's just take one last round of check-ins, see if anyone's out there. Or maybe someone that's been sitting waiting and I accidentally didn't get into the log, or somebody new that's just listening and waiting to jump in. In either event, please call now. This is W2JLS.
Well, evening, John. KC8. Yeah. KC8 FQV.
Okay, I'll take one at a time. There's Mark. Hey, Mark, good to hear you tonight. KC8 Fox Queen Victor. It's a net now, Mark. Have you been listening in? I know you like to bounce around from one net to the next, but I know you like the Colorado Astronomy Net. Do you have any, and you're getting to listen to it on the Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee repeater, where we're broadcasting into Skyhub linked. Probably two of your favorite places to hang out in the radio universe. So, speaking of the universe, do you have anything for the Colorado Astronomy Net, Mark?
Well, not really. But yeah, I've listened to the Colorado Net. I used to listen to Jack always on Monday with Society of Broadcasters. I don't know if I know he moved over on the Thursday. I don't know if we're doing that still or not. But just been around doing different things. Oh, I forgot about the RV network. They were on at 8 o'clock Central 9 our time. Yeah, very busy the last few days at Dayton. That what happens. My dad made a comment one time. The one boy of ours went golfing or somewhere. One time we went on vacation or whatever. He came back home and he goes to sleep. He said, "Hey," and then what happens? You go and you go somewhere, and then you come home and you're supposed to enjoy it. You come home and you crash out. So yeah, I pulled in the yard tonight, unloaded the car, and as soon as I got basically what I wanted in, the rain came. Not stars, I guess it was liquid stars maybe. So we'll send it back your way, John, KSFQV.
W8WKY.
KC8FQV, thanks, Mark, for jumping in. And I got run into Ernest. You were both at the Hamvention over the weekend. I'm assuming that you would have mentioned seeing him if you were there and had the chance. So we probably didn't run into him. Thanks for calling. Good to hear you tonight. And yeah, those liquid stars, I heard them coming down as the net was beginning here in Farallon. Let's see. We'll give it one last go, and then I'll pass the mic back to Bernice for the closing. So this is W2JLS. Is there anyone else out there that wants to jump in this long log? We're almost done tonight, I think. I'm hearing somebody's got them. They're keying a mic, but I'm not hearing anything. I'm not sure if that's inadvertent or if you're not making it. We'll go one more shot. Anyone wanting to jump in? Maybe check your equipment. Maybe you're checking in accidentally. Over to anyone wishing to check in.
KS0WRW.
Yeah, good evening around the net. This is K0VH. Got to the radio here. Want to check in, even if it's last minute, but good evening to everybody around the net. Thank you so much for participating. Ernest, great to hear and see you on YouTube. And guys, you guys on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for Ernest and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. With that, Ernest, I'll throw it back to net. And good evening, everyone. This is K0VH. By the way, on my YouTube channel, I will be flying a CRJ 700 tomorrow night from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Fort Myers, Florida on my Captain Jack Flight Sim YouTube channel. Hope you guys had a great time at Hamvention there also, and got to run into some of my guys from Franklin Burns. Anyway, good evening. Good to see you on YouTube and hear everybody on the net tonight. Great job, the extra net controls there. 7-3 from KE0VH in Wheat Ridge.
Before you clear, KE0VH is the call. This is so I've got you correctly. I'm putting in a net longer, and you're not popping up. I have a funny feeling I've got your call incorrectly. Can you give it to me phonetically one more time, sir?
Yes, indeed. This is Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel. Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel. Jack in Wheat Ridge.
Okay, Jack, I've got you in the log. For whatever reason, you're not populating, but that's okay. I got you, Jack. Thank you for your check. And then I will acknowledge Amber. We picked you back up. I had you earlier in the log, but we've got you back now. Do you want to jump in there, Amber? You have anything to share with the Colorado Astronomy Minute? Any questions or thoughts for the net?
No, I was just making sure I was able to call out, and thank you so much for your help. And I loved listening to your net tonight.
Well, I know you know I'm the guest, and Bernice is steering the net for 30 years. I'm just helping hand tonight. So, yeah, thank you so much, Amber, for your check-in, and you are in his log, and you have a wonderful evening. Appreciate you checking back. And we'll move down to Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel. I know you've already given us your comments, but you were next in the log. I wasn't trying to cut you off if you had something to share in addition to what you've already shared. So one last over to you, and then I'm going to pass it to Bernice to see if he can rake in any additional calls, and he can close at will. Back over to you, sir. Okay, Kilo Echo Zero Victor Hotel, we got you in the log. Thank you for your check-in. And Bert, I'm going to pass it back, see if you want to try to reach out to anyone else, or if you got closing comments, and you can shut your net down for the evening. This is W2JLF, passing it back over to you, sir. Thank you for having me in here tonight. I do appreciate it. Fun as always.
All right, John. Yeah, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Just a quick welcome over on YouTube. Durfo 3182 and Aviation Geek. Yeah. So thanks for checking in over there as well. Let's see. And Patrick said he wanted to say thanks for hosting. Hopefully you'll have his call sign next net, so we'll look forward to that. And John, if you go into Jack's call sign there and go, put your cursor there and hit a tab, it should pop up. It'll populate. Sometimes when you type in and get an extra or do a backspace or something like that within the call when you type in, it'll mess up. So all you need to do is just go in there and hit a tab. That should pull up his information. And stick around, and we'll go over the list. There were a couple of dupes in there and a couple of corrections I got for the list before you. Well, I'll go ahead and save it, but for sure I like to save a copy of the NetLogger file as well. So we'll talk about that in just a sec. All right. I want to thank everybody for checking in. We had a whole bunch of new calls and new people over on YouTube, so thanks for that. New calls on the list, on the air as well, and maybe we'll expect some new calls next week, too, from those of you who are listening in and don't have a call yet. Well, it's not required over on YouTube, that's for sure, but I definitely encourage that, because that way you guys can participate and join in with the rest of the crowd for sure. There's probably a way you can do that over on YouTube, but I'm not sure how I'm not that YouTube savvy. Hopefully, I couldn't fix what I'm looking at tonight. So So I don't know exactly what's going on, but definitely a bunch of new calls, a bunch of new check-ins, both over the air and on YouTube. So thanks for that. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for use of their repeater systems. As well, I'd like to thank the Echolink group for the use of their systems and all the ways that we can check in to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Skyhublink.com for more information. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.
W8WKY.
Hey, Ernest, if you have a minute, give me a call on the telephone, K0VH.
We'll do, Jack. We'll do that for sure. Now, let me get this settled up with John there and give you a buzz. W2JLS, this is KI0AR calling.
W2JLS returning. Yeah, I'm right here, Bernice. If you want to run down the list, and I did get the tab trick to work for a couple of things, but I've got at least one that's not making it, and then I gather you had some other thoughts and maybe additions and corrections.
Yeah, you bet. Number 9 is Fox Tango Golf. Change the E to a T, and then hit your tab, and it'll pop up. That's who checked in.
KE2 Fox Tango Golf or KE9 Fox Tango Golf?
Number 9 on your list, Kilo Echo 2 Fox Tango Golf.
Very good. He's corrected. I've got Michael from New York there now. I had him earlier. Somehow we must have lost him.
Yep. Let me stop the streaming over on YouTube, and we'll continue with that. So, everybody on YouTube, thanks for checking in tonight. Do appreciate it. Let's see. Number 15 and number 16. So right click on number 16 N8 Whiskey Bravo, and you can delete that line. That's a duplicate.
Got it. Moving along.
Oh yeah, there he is. Number 21 is now a duplicate. That was Michael in New York.
He's clear.
And scroll down for Amber, number 33.
Got her.
And another YouTuber, let's see, we got Okay. Oh yeah, number. Yeah. Wait. No, you got the wrong one. She's still there. It's number 32 now. So let me see which one you zapped.
I took her out earlier. She didn't answer that call, so I logged her in on the later one is the one I retained.
Okay. Yeah, you got, okay, let's see. We got Walker, we got Tom 23rd, Patrick Wesley. We got Aviation Geek there. Add in Durfo, that's Delta, Echo, Romeo, Foxtrot, Oscar, Hotel, 3182.
Okay, Bernice, I've got those gentlemen.
Yeah, he didn't pop the name. He didn't pop up with a name, so, let's see, or a location I pinged there. So why do I have 34 and you got, you got 35 because I didn't count me. I have myself down as net control. So I don't have to check in since I'm the net control. So you can delete me up there at number 2. Or just leave me in. Just leave me in there. That'll be fine. I'll put myself down. No worries. And that'll. Oh, there I go. No worries. That'll work out fine. Yeah, okay, there we go. 34 and 34. So yeah, that works out. So let me see if I can save that. Yep, I can save that. So there we go. No worries. So we're cool. We're cool on the list. And let's see. Let me check. Have you sent that list from last week there, John? Go ahead.
W2JLS for ID. Yeah, Bernice, I have the list. I haven't sent it. I'm looking now. I did save my log that I was keeping in NetLogger last week, but I had some additional content in my hand-kept notes. For whatever reason, last week I know the reason. I wasn't connected to my account on my other laptop, so I was not getting my check-in data is populating automatically live, so that was a bit of a struggle. But I do have the list that I was populating. I'll email that to you as well after I edit in my hand notes. If you don't mind, I'll sort that out in the morning. I'm getting close to the end of my day here for sure. But yeah, back over to you.
All right, no worries. Maybe I don't know if you have that quickly at hand, but I have a Kilo Bravo 8 Kilo Echo 8 Bravo Hotel, and that comes up as an SK. I don't think that's the complete call, and it's probably somebody you know out there in Ohio. I think I was copying most of them all down myself last week, so I might have all of them except that one.
W8WKY.
Yeah, that sounds like Josh. Give me the call sign again that you had.
Kilo Echo 8 Bravo Hotel something, or it has those letters in it anyway. And I typed in, it was fine on an SK. So I figured, okay, that guy didn't check in, but there's 21 of them that have the similar calls.
Yeah, Kilo Echo 8 Bravo Hotel, I think is called. Maybe I've got that wrong, but let me just see if I can't sort it out. If somebody's listening, what's Josh's call sign here on the Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee? Shame on me if I'm getting that wrong.
This is Kilo India Zero Alpha Romeo.
Hey, there is a Leicester, Ohio, Bluffton KE8 Bravo Hotel that may have been legit call in the list last week. Is that the one you're talking about, Bernice?
Yep, but when I pull that up on QRZ, it says license expired, silent key, reported silent key, expired in 2018.
So either somebody has picked up that call sign since and it's not in the database, or somebody's playing around. I don't know what to make of that, unless I've recorded it incorrectly, which is certainly possible. Yeah, I don't know what we can do about that. I will check. There is a very popular ham in our community, and I should know his call, and I wouldn't be surprised if I've recorded him incorrectly here. Anyway, I'll look into that. I've got an asterisk. I'll check in with a couple of my friends tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking at, I just typed in Kilo Echo 8 Bravo Hotel question mark in QRZ, and I don't see Josh, but there's plenty of J's for middle initials, so that could be it as well. So, and I did hear that call sign over the air, but I thought he said something else along it, but I couldn't, when I was listening on Echolink last week, it was garbled several times, so I didn't hear it completely. But that's what I had in my notes, Bravo Hotel question mark, so I was trying to figure out what that might be.
Yeah, the gentleman I'm thinking of is very popular. He's a net host here, so and if somebody's listening, could probably tell me straight off. I know his name is Josh Van Dyke. Super nice guy, excellent operator. And shame on me if I'm just not. It must be just too late in the day, and I haven't been playing a lot of local radio, or I would know. Let me. I'm trying to pull it out here. No, that's his call is W8HRF, so it's not Josh. I don't. Well, I'll make some inquiries about Kilo Echo 8 Bravo Hotel. I should know. But definitely a familiar call.
All right, no worries. We'll track it down one way or another. And maybe I missed a letter somewhere in there, but I'm looking under the last name of Van Dyke. So you can do all kinds of things with QRZ here. Thanks for that. We'll figure it out. You take care, John, and thanks for tag team of the net tonight. That helped. That helped a lot, for sure. Appreciate it. I'll say 73 to you, and we'll talk later. W2JLS, this is KI0AR. I'll be clearing your file.
W2JLS, returning. My pleasure, sir. Always a good time. And yeah, that other gentleman, Josh, was definitely a different call sign. I will look into the one, and I do have him. I had into my notes with that call last week, so I will send the collection of my digital log and my hand-kept notes to you via email. So look for that tomorrow sometime, and give me a poke if I don't get it straight out to you. I did take the day off tomorrow to catch up on some stuff, so that'll be one of them. 73 Burness, you have a good night. Get some rest. I'm going to go do the same. And anyone who may be listening, like KD8SLG, if you want to disconnect the repeater, thank you. And anyone else that's listening for letting us connect up through SkyHub link tonight to join Burness and the Colorado Astronomy Net. We'll be clear. Thanks one and all.